What's going on here? Why isn't the background fucking playing? That's odd. That's why.
I'd suck heaps of dicks for $20 million.
Well, no one cares about your saggy tits and your fucking.
Is your name?
box.
Is
I want to beat her to death with her dead fetus.
We're not saying anything wrong. We're just saying that teachers fucking boys is hot.
Come in my ass.
we're not endorsing kid porn. We're just giving you an avenue to do it.
Always down.
I hate when they call us the pommies. You guys are the fucking prisoners. You're fucking rapists with a tan.
How can you watch this through with like just laugh? Is that actually period blood?
Yes.
That's a lot. You'd have to like. You'd have to like.
Abortion or some shit, like what the
Well,
fuck?
no, should I
Amanda.
suck dick now? Is that should I take it up the ass?
Only white privilege I believe in is white woman privilege.
Yeah.
White male privilege doesn't exist. They work for their shit. They work for their shit.
I'm fucking leaving. You guys are sickos.
Don't be that misogynist.
You know who you're talking to here.
Listen here, bitch. Faggots, whores, penis. Come in your ass. Come in your mum's ass. Come in your dad's mouth.
Nothing beats a bottle of red wine and a fucking solid wank.
We're allowed to be hypocrites. That's the whole thing about
Yeah.
this. We are all hypocrites.
Hi.
Yes,
Howdy.
we are.
We are hypocrites.
We are.
We're also, as we found out, we're pedophobes as well.
Pedophobe.
Pedophobic.
Clearly.
Someone had a meltdown when we were doing it with Dave Graham because we were obviously ripping these fucking pedophiles, and then they're like made a joke about it, and they're like, how can you joke about it? It's like, it's hard to explain to an NPC that doesn't get that kind of humor.
It's hard to explain anything to an NPC.
Yeah. Anyways, welcome to episode, I can't even remember which one
99.
it was. We got
Hey.
99, 1 off 100.
Yeah.
We've got Brendan Ehlers with us.
Hello, hello.
What's going on,
hello.
man?
Yeah, good.
How are ya?
Good, man. Good. Excited.
Excited?
Yeah.
Fuck
ready,
yeah.
Ready to go.
Going to shed a bit of light on a few things.
Hopefully, that's the plan.
Yeah,
I
so
just can't wait to call you like a cooked cunt, a pseudoscientist, like all the
Cooker, for
terms,
sure.
you know,
Yeah.
all the terms that get thrown at anyone who has any form of critical thinking.
Yeah, look, it wouldn't be the first time, mate.
I feel like the AF is definitely the AFP that came up with Cooker because it's just woeful. It's so fucking pathetic.
It sounds like a kid that used to get bullied trying to rip on you.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like kill yourself. Don't.
It's rarely you actually hear a good burn. You know, it's very rare because
No.
most of the people
Well,
that are
that-
pissed off at you are fucking
The other thing
losers.
I've noticed
Yeah.
is that everyone that uses the term, they're pretty much cooked. Like pretty much every single person I've seen use the term like a lot.
Yeah.
They're fucked in their head.
They're staying up all night coming after us.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Literally
Those kind of
3 in the
people.
morning, 4 in the morning. Then early in the morning, they're still coming out, and you're like, what were you doing last night? Meth?
Bro, that was so
Man.
funny. We did this episode with Guru, and that night, man, was it that night or was it the next night? I think it might have even been the next night, man.
They were
This
going
guy-
all weekend.
Yeah,
Fucking
this
still
guy,
going, man.
this guy was going, and I think some of us are bitten into it, and I think these two are actually responding to the same guy, but they were playing like good cop, bad cop unknowingly. Where like Drew's trying to bait him into like setting himself up, and Josh is like, "Kill yourself, you're a fucking loser," and it was awesome to read. But this guy started like, so I think you guys stayed up maybe till 11. And I was like, I was in bed for like 9 o'clock. So I was like, fuck this shit. And then at 3 in the morning, my phone's like just kicking off. And it's just this dude talking to no one. No one's up. No one's replying. And he sent
He's a
like,
cooker.
20 messages. And so I got to work. and I
Posting
checked it.
articles, like trying
Yeah.
to discredit everything. Anyone
I got to
said.
work for like 5:30 a.m. and I fucking read all this shit and I take a few screenshots, send it to the boys, being like, this dude's actually on meth. Like it's the last message was like 3:30 a.m.
Definitions have changed, man.
They have.
Things change quickly now.
What used to be a cooker or a cook cunt
not
is
the same.
It's not. It's the same thing as like right and left is fucking flipped 180. Like so
Yeah.
is that. Like everything.
But because the ones that
upside down,
call
bro.
people cookers, that they're very
Cook.
sheltered. Yeah, well, yeah, but like what I mean is like they're calling people cookers, but they've not done any. Like I know, do your research is the most gayest thing to say. We should put that on the fucking terms that need to go, but they don't do any.
No.
like
No, they just
you
don't
know?
live a life. They live in a bubble.
Yeah.
And so, like, their idea of a cooker is just like a homeless person. It's like, no. Like, go out to a club and watch people gurn till 6 a.m. That's a cook cunt. Someone
Well,
who
what I
just
mean is
cannot
like they're
put-
And
calling you a
also-
cooker because you're saying like, oh, maybe perhaps this vaccine was terrible.
Yeah.
And they're calling you a cooker for that, right? And you're like, yeah, it's pretty fucking obvious now that it's terrible. Like, how can
Or-
you still not think that it is?
You
still
can't, you
lining
can't
up.
trust any government ever, and they're like, "That's
Yeah.
some cook shit." It's like, this is just the
Yeah.
truth.
Yeah.
I got
just the truth.
I got in a bit of a war on our YouTube channel because there was a lefty that went on that. Oh fuck, I'm never gonna remember his name. Patrick something Davis. What's that dude? He's an American guy. Patrick someone, and he has like a lot of fucking all sorts of people on, not just interesting people, but he gets involved a little bit in politics, and he had this like lefty social commentator guy on, and like obviously they went back and forth heaps and it got heated and all that shit. And he was trying to say how he thinks that there should be a 90% tax rate. This guy.
What?
That's what he was saying. He's a lefty. Yeah, and I'm like, and I just wrote a question.
what? There already is.
This is in America.
There already
right?
is.
And I was like, when did lefties like become pro-establishment and pro big government
It's
like
bizarre,
that?
right?
You know, and
It's
then
so
I
bizarre.
used the one we always use: rage against the machine is rage for the machine.
Yeah.
right. And I messaged that, and we just got attacked because it was on a lefty's channel, right? But no one fucking said anything about it. I'm like, well, how about rebut what I said? None of them. They just attacked because they had nothing, man. And it's fucking true. That's why.
Right, so
Well,
What
what
do you leave-
pieces when
Yeah.
they think it through, it just falls to pieces, mate.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, they haven't
90%
thought it
tax
through.
rate. Who the fuck would even work if it was 90? I wouldn't work.
Nope.
You're just
Fuck
going to
no.
claim benefits because the benefits are going to be ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, then they always
Ridiculous.
say that, right? Like they go Finland or wherever the fuck where they're like everything is taxed to fucking shit.
They're like nearly 50% income
Something like
tax,
that.
yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of Finland things
European.
work well, but you don't have any freedom
They
of
don't.
idea of thought. You do what the government wants you to do.
It's Big
That's it.
Brother at that point.
Yeah.
Wait, on the weekend, I just have to tell this one story from Adelaide. So I roasted a lesbian, and she ran off crying.
Actually,
Yeah.
Sweet.
yes.
Yeah.
All right, hang on.
So-
Let me have this last bite.
Yeah.
Right.
So like, we're at the this
in.
bar, right, and at this like the cigar place in Adelaide. We're sitting there having a cigar and a few beers, and these chicks next to us were like, oh, they started, came over and started chatting, and one of them was just an NPC, just firing all the.
What
like,
color was her hair?
It may as well have been blue. It should have been.
Yeah, but it was probably some sort of green, pink.
No, well, no, it was brown. But if you. Like,
was washed out.
It was a wig. If you
Yep.
took it off, it was pink. So,
She's bald. Yeah.
but she's like saying all the shit like, because she was going on about, I said I'd gone over there last April to get away from all the COVID shit here because, it was less there. And she's like, oh, April. Oh, yeah, I guess it wasn't as bad then. So they let it off. And I was like, no, or was it just bullshit? And then she's like, I have an autoimmune disease, and I was like, yeah.
Of course
is it
you
an
do.
autoimmune disease that attacks your brain?
Yeah,
Is that
of course
as opposed
she's
to
fat.
attacking
Of
your immune
course
system?
She's fat too, And
And it attacks their sexuality. That's what it attacks.
Oh, and she's
Makes her a
going on
fucking
about
lesbian.
that shit, and then like, so you think I shouldn't take another booster? And I was like, well, take one if you want, you dumb bitch. But
Was she wearing a mask?
no, she might as well. She
at a
wasn't.
cigar bar.
She wasn't.
No,
She's
she
at a
was-
cigar bar.
What the- and you're autoimmune and
Yeah.
you're overweight.
Yeah.
Probably should wear a mask. eh?
Smoking a cigar, and she's like, I have health problems.
if you're worried about
No
it,
shit.
That's
I
the
saw
other
her,
thing she was doing. So the first thing she said as well was, "Wait, do you know we're standing on this tribe's land, and you're standing?"
fuck
And
off.
she was white, by the way, and then Dre was basically like, the best way to solve racism, stop fucking talking about it.
Yep.
But then anyway, she was being a peanut all night, and then like,
Why was she-
And then her cousin sitting there, right? Her two cousins. And her cousin said faggot, and then I was like, yeah, faggot, and we all started saying faggot, and like her cousin said it, and we all started laughing, and then she like starts crying. She's like,
Oh, no.
yeah. And then it turns out she's just come out of the closet apparently,
Of course.
and she's like,
That's a big fucking door.
yeah, it's the 2-door closet. Yeah. And she's like, how dare you? That's not your word to say. And I was like, oh, okay. So because you decided yesterday that you were gay, you think you got the right to claim a word. And then she's
Fucking-
like, decided? What do you mean decided? And she's crying, and then she's like, you are the worst people I've ever met, pointing at me and Trey. And Sober, one of the
She's not
other
wrong.
boys,
She's
is
not
in the
wrong,
toilet, right? Sober hasn't said anything all night to her, and then Sober comes out just unknowingly, like, from the toilet, and she's like saying me and Trey are the worst people she's ever met. And then this points at him, she's like, and you're the worst of them all, and then runs off crying. And he's like, what did I do? He's like, I never said anything at all to her all night. I was like, that's so fucking funny,
Dude,
man.
this is my favorite thing to do with gay people is just ask them why they decided to become gay. It fucking
That's pretty good, yeah.
gets them going so fast, man. My brother will laugh it off because he's a legend, but most people will fucking get so triggered, bro.
Or you
It's
could
brilliant.
say something like, "Oh, did you ever think about like maybe trying to stop being gay? Like,
Yeah.
somehow repress it. See what they say.
Yeah.
I
Just
legit,
be normal like everyone. Like,
Have you thought about being normal?
I legit saw a sticker on the back of a car the other day, and it said, "No need to welcome me to my own fucking country." I was like, shit, that's a statement. Like, fuck.
Most of them don't want it, man. They think
Yeah.
it's ridiculous because they know it just adds to that divide.
It does. It
Yeah.
100% does.
Because then I've started seeing recently as well where people are like, oh, they're not like, people be like, oh, the, what do they call them, the custodians of this land? And they'll be like, oh, the Noongar people. And they're like, they're not Noongar, that's this tribe and right. And it's like, now you're dividing them even further.
Well, even that.
I was like,
well,
man,
there's fucking
really?
however many tribes there is. There's
you wanna be-
fucking hundreds.
I know. but-
Thousands.
But they came together so long ago to fight as one people in regards to our government that I don't think it's a good idea to then take a step back and push them back into their original tribes and be like, stop interacting with one another. Like, because
Yeah.
I think that's why they push back on it.
even that term.
Well, that voice thing is probably going to end up happening, which is pretty
That
fucked.
voice thing is I'll be interested to get your opinion, but from what I was reading, basically they've been trying to get that for ages, because once they get the Aboriginals to commit to that, then they'll no longer be the custodians of the land, and they can hand our
okay.
country over to the UN. Basically,
It's already happened.
Has
Just
already?
Yeah, mate. It's pretty much like we don't have, in my opinion, very long to actually turn the ship around. Like, it started sailing that way in the 70s. Like,
Yeah.
if you look at,
with Gough Whitlam and all.
yeah, with Gough Whitlam and the shutdown of government, and then they
Is it
installed.
Goth Whitlam? He's
they
just a
ins-
goth.
It's just a goth. Yeah. They
He's got
installed.
like fringe and shit.
They installed a caretaker's government in like 1973 through to 1976, and since then we're literally like, to put it bluntly, we're occupied by our own government.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. They're by a private
And-
corporation.
Yeah, well, not necessarily, not a private corporation. They're
a
still
fake government. What'd you call it?
No, they're 100% real. I like to break it down into, all right, and this vote thing, they've been trying to change parts of our constitution since 1999. They asked the public if they should insert a preamble into our constitution. Our constitution already has a preamble. Well, the one from 1900, right? The newer one from the 70s. And if you look up the Australian Constitution today and download it from the website, it actually gives a list, and it says first published 1995, and then goes through. Then there's a couple of variations, 2010 and whatnot. But I like to break it down as, we've got a constitution that started in the 70s, and we've got one from 1900, right? Also, above that, you've got two different crowns, right? So if you go to a war memorial at Kings Park here, and if you look at the crown on the wall, and
Are
you
you
look
talking
at,
about the coat of arms?
Yeah, and-
because ours is the original is the one with the unicorn and the lion.
correct, yeah, that's the original one, and it has an imperial crown on top of it, right?
Yeah, I see.
So you've also got two dates, right? So you've got two entities at play here in Australia, right? And one was existing since 1900, right? And a lot of people think, yeah, but then, we were never self-governing. We were always under the UK rule. Like, we had them as a king, so we didn't have our own say, and the reason we moved towards this was that so we were more sovereign, independent, but it's not necessarily the case when you look at the history and you see that in 1919, we signed a treaty on a world stage with other sovereign bodies, right? And our Prime Minister at the time, Billy Hughes, stood up to Woodrow Wilson and said, "You're not signing this document on our behalf. I'm signing on behalf of 60,000
And Woodrow Wilson was the American president at the time.
English.
Oh, English?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was going to sign on our behalf for that Treaty of Versailles. But Billy Hughes stood up and said, "No, I'm signing on behalf of 62,000 dead Anzacs." You know, we spilt blood for this nation. And yeah, it's a lot to do with money as well, man. Money is a big thing. Big
How
part
can
of it.
you like? So how could they basically overthrew one government?
Correct. Yeah.
How can you just do that? You know,
Because-
and be a legal. They're not a legal entity then.
No, but everyone jumped ship with them,
Unwillingly.
unwillingly, unknowingly.
Unknowingly.
We didn't know. You know, when did citizenship come into play here in Australia? Most of us don't know.
Well, I remember it wouldn't have been because I think when my family came here from Italy in like the 50s, it was a lot different. Like they didn't have all the welfare, they didn't have anything. Like,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
like the Wild West coming here
Look,
They
my
just thought,
grandparents
we need
also
concrete. This place needs concrete.
and tiles.
they came from Italy as well. But 1948 was when citizenship actually came into play here. So previous to 1948, what the fuck were we? If we weren't citizens,
We were fauna and flora.
We were the
like
First Nations.
Aboriginals.
I like that one. That's a good one. No, we were subjects of a crown.
Oh, all right, yeah.
Yeah. And because we all became citizens, right, which was a year after the IMF, International Monetary Fund, came into Australia in 1947, and then a year later, 1948, and then they got rid of naturalisation, right, so that everyone became a citizen. So they created and occupied the old.
What's the difference between naturalisation and because I remember what all my family did when they came over.
Yeah.
What's the difference between that and becoming a citizen?
Basically, naturalisation, I think it's got to do with the amount of time that you're here. And citizenship is you go through a process, you apply for it, and they make you
Do a test.
do a test and take an oath. And this sort of brings us back to that bossy guru guy that, you know, we were talking about a few weeks ago. And my only issue with, you know, supporting, like, we've got a problem with our parliament, we've got a problem with our government. We all fucking know that, all right? And yes, there is, it seems like there's people there that want to try and fix it. And as he says, you know, highlight the criminality to it, you know, but as soon as you step into that office, you've got to take an oath.
Well,
Right.
that's what his whole thing was. He goes, I know we're committing treason by going in there. And that they never wanted to be in government, but they're like, this is an avenue to take it down. Because once we get in there, we can start exposing shit. And they gave themselves 6 months to
You do it at,
What happened with the election, by the way? I know that obviously didn't win because it was always going to be a fucking Labor or Liberal.
What?
But how did they go?
I think a lot of his as well is training people for, because they sort of talk about a time when we can have a referendum in the future when this government goes down, and him training people to general people in the population to be able to step up to the plate and run the country and not have career politicians, like people that actually deserve to be there, public servants that are actually like, because he's obviously a tier 1 operator, you know. He knows what it's like to do hard shit. So he describes his party as the special ops of parties. So it's not for everyone. It's fucking hard to be in there. But if you get to the top, you earned it. You know, like
you're still doing it at the peril of your life, though. Like literally, the peril of your life. That's in the Liber Code. And when an occupation government makes the, you know, magistrates and parliamentarians take an oath, they do it at the peril of their life, and they've got to uphold that Australia that they've taken oath to. They can't step back to the Commonwealth and to what we had previously, you know. And I agree that, like, I'd love to say, yeah, we need a new constitution. Like, let's sort it out so that we've all got fucking rights. But I can't trust those in power now.
No,
or the state government.
you wouldn't want one
you
now.
definitely can't.
No,
Because they'd make it to serve their interests.
They weren't.
Totally.
Their whole thing was to go back to the 1902 and then have a period of, teach everyone in the country.
yeah. We're trying to do that from the outside.
So what's your, like, maybe we can go back and explain, like, what group you're a part of, what everything is,
So
and what your plans are, what your ideas of. changing things or being able to save the country. Or
So I've been on this road since I was like pretty much straight out of school. I always knew that there was something going weird with the government. I sort of, I came from like my dad's side of the family have always been involved in community and like being mayors of their towns and stuff like that. So, and I've always had a bloody interest in it. And I came across a couple bodies of work that sort of made me really think. But basically now I'm part of a council, and it's like the 8th iteration of this council because egos get in the way and people fight and it just turns to shit, you know. But basically we're building a council pretty much like the Privy Council in the UK. So we advise the sovereign, right? And then by having a sovereign and having an order and having a Privy Council, we can give... Basically, our idea is what we need to do is build the government that we have in our constitution. You know, so we need...
build it bigger than that government.
No, not bigger necessarily,
Just better.
but actually have people that care and have like 8 to 10 people from each district that get together on once every couple of weeks, you know, and eventually be flying that flag too.
Is this the common law?
Yeah, show the flag to the main camera here. There you go.
So explain that flag too.
It's a
All right.
Jewish flag. You got the Star of David right there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks,
they
mate.
love Jews.
Because everyone thinks it's the maritime flag. So
Yeah.
That's because
so
of the colour. I
that-
thought it was a maritime flag because of the red colour.
That was carried into battle in Gallipoli
Oh, sorry, we're back on this cam now.
on horseback.
Yep.
And it was the competition-winning flag from 1901 to 1903. We had a competition here in Australia, and that was the one that I think it was actually 2 entrants that had a very similar design, and they put it together. I'm not going to go into the details. These represent the brightness, you know, the amount of points and that, but basically 1 point for each state. And the only time they ever legislated a flag into existence.
oh, that's different.
Yeah.
That's got 1 less point.
Yeah, the only time that they legislated a flag into existence was for this blue one behind us in 1953, 1954. So prior to that, and if you look up the opening of Parliament House in 1927, they have a maritime flag. No, it's not a maritime flag. They have a land flag at the front.
What's it called? The land flag.
Yeah, it's just a land flag. It's a 1901 federal. It's a federal flag, federal red ensign. Yeah.
I thought it was maritime because I grew up on boats a lot and we used to fly it. And
It looks a bit like it. I get it.
didn't see the points of the stars. I just saw the red and
Yeah.
the Southern Cross and went, oh, maritime flag.
I see people flying it at the rallies, and actually,
Look, you'll see people
does
flying-
Lucas work with you?
Yes.
Yeah, he brought
Yes.
them in.
Yes.
Well, we had him on.
So he, you'll see people flying the maritime one as well at the rallies because they don't know the fucking difference between the two,
Yeah.
right?
You get the maritime one up, Drew, just so I can compare.
It's basically what it's doing though. The meaning of it is saying, because under the Hague Conventions, War on Lands, right, and the Lieber Code and all of these military rules that Australia's a treaty to, they have to abide by it.
So it's got the extra point.
Yes.
Yeah. And then the Southern Cross
Is
seems
all
to have the
consistent.
same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I get it. Oh.
Yeah. We'll pull it up quickly for.
They can't force you to take an
The
allegiance
viewers.
to a hostile government or an occupational government.
Yeah.
They can't force you to obey them. Like you'll always, not necessarily always, but at the moment, because that constitution's still there and still in play, we've got the right to return to it, and basically say, "Fuck you" to the government and their blue flag, and say, I'm stepping out of that jurisdiction and back into the one.
The voice will end that, hey? The voice will get rid of it. That seems like
Mate,
the
it's
nail in the
possible.
coffin.
But they're not going to let people do, like, even if it is true, it's not going to, no one's going to let it happen. No one in Parliament is going to give up their position or give up what they've got
Yeah.
without a fight. So there's
Yeah.
no point in even going, this legislation says that I can do this. They'll just be like, fuck you.
That's
Like,
why we
that's
just
the-
got to do it
my-
from the outside. It's got to be
What
done.
about though, like, because our problem is that we live in a country which is probably 80% NPCs. You don't give a fuck, and you
Yeah.
never like. How do you change?
I think it-
75%
might be
touching
higher.
kids.
Yeah.
And
Higher
then the
than that.
other 5% are NPCs touching
It's-
kids.
That's a difficult one, man.
I reckon
don't
it's
know. I don't know.
90% NPCs and
Yeah.
85 of that 90 are pedophiles.
Are pedos, yeah. 5% just didn't want to.
Well, that's the other thing. I think, like, there's so many nefarious things going on with our government. Like they're definitely run by secret societies. They're all involved with globalist enterprises, and they do really evil shit.
Yeah.
Like we just saw it over the 3 years. They just came out in the open with forced medical experiments.
Well,
What
now
Hitler-
you got McGowan who's trying to fucking bring it back.
Yeah.
He's trying to bring back the like scanning everyone as they come into different regions. So if you leave the Peel region or if you leave the Metro region, you basically have to do the G2G thing again.
That's so wrong.
That's what he wants to bring in, and his
Well, hasn't
whole
he done it?
reasoning,
This is
his
Nazi
reasoning
Germany,
behind it is
checkpoints.
because meth use went down during that time. It's like, no shit, meth use went down. The world shut down, so no one
Actually,
was bringing
I
drugs
reckon
in or out of the country.
no,
That's why it fucking went
drugs
down.
got
You
better
fucking
here.
idiot.
I reckon it went
Who
up.
cares if they get better or
Did,
worse?
did
Like,
it go down? I bet you it went up.
No, I know.
Suicide
I know,
went up,
I know
depression went up.
people. Yeah, but it went up. But I don't think drug use went up. I think it took a bit of a hit. Like people I know who use heavily or deal were struggling to find it, and everyone who ended up getting anything, well, like I know someone who's producing it.
Well, I like
basically.
with drugs, from what I noticed, they got better for the whole period of COVID, and then the after effect, there's not many around now. But for that whole period when he thought he'd stopped it, they were more pure. There was more around because they couldn't get over east.
Yeah.
Well, even these borders, like the ones that the state borders that they locked down to 3 years ago, whatever it was the first time it's happened in like 100 years or more, right? Like part of becoming a Commonwealth and federating was dismantling those borders.
Yeah.
So that we
Yeah.
weren't individual colonies anymore,
Yeah.
right?
We could
And-
travel freely.
didn't they say? Correct me if I'm wrong here. Someone said that they moved the border or something out into the sea. So there's a border, but it's Australia as a whole. That's what they were saying.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's like
So there was like some kind of borders beforehand, and they just went and pushed them all out to sea so that Australia is one. That's what they were saying. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what
We
sure.
united. We united to become one federal body, and you had free travel between them. Like I think it's between Victoria and New South Wales, or New South Wales and Queensland. But there's a border there, and it's called Boundary Road. It's not necessarily like they never used to be able to stop you at it.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
it was like it was a state boundary, but you could still
Access.
move freely back and forth, you know, and travel your own country.
Well, that is a bit of a weird thing.
Isn't-
Like, I don't know if other countries did it, but like I don't know if USA. I don't think USA did it. You could still move anywhere during the pandemic. In the
Probably,
USA, right? Like
yeah.
there was no stopping people in the border of Texas and fucking.
Oh, we were
wherever.
locked into our districts if
Yeah,
we
we
didn't
were
have to
in
work.
districts in
Yeah.
Well, they got
Well,
it.
that's what he wants to bring back.
That's part of their.
That's so
their
he
15
doesn't
minute
want to
city.
just bring back the state border. He wants to bring back a district border. So if you travel between districts, it's like the G2G thing.
What do you think they're gonna do with the digital
they're gonna
ID?
stop and screen. And this is what I was saying to you. I was like, it's a precursor to 15-minute cities
Yeah.
in my
Yeah,
in my idea.
totally.
So it's basically like, oh, get used to not traveling outside of these regions, and then when you do, like, we're gonna find the shit out of you, or you're gonna have to go through a really arduous, like, taxing process to even do it. But I'm just really glad I got a fucking bull bar in the front of my car, because I'm just gonna fucking charge through those stops. Fuck
Dude,
it. They're like,
people are
dude.
so asleep. Like they haven't even like. There's so much to learn. Like, obviously, you know a lot of shit. I don't. There's so much to fucking learn. And when you start out on that journey, like you're like, hang on, something's not right here. You're always learning new shit, but we don't have fucking time.
Yeah.
There isn't time for everyone to. That's why, to me, it's like I don't see much hope, and I see Bozy as a hope, because I see someone that can go in there and just fuck.
Well, how did they
shit
do?
needs
Do
to
you know
get
how they
fucked
did?
up. Well, so they polled.
had
They
11
polled 30%, right? They in the polls, which is not accurate, but they pre-polled
Well, that doesn't
30% of the
Oh,
vote.
pre-poll.
So
That's a lot, though.
huge.
Yeah, that's big. So
They basically got none. But you've seen
Wow.
the videos. You've seen
Oh, yeah.
people carting off boxes, people rubbing shit out with erasers. You know, because there was everyone on the street following people and filming them. They didn't have ID tags. They just had an AEC or the
Yeah.
New South.
We saw it with our last state election, man. When we talked, we had Kate on right before the election,
Yeah.
and we said, fucking mark in pen. And then I went into a place to vote, and they fucking straight up lied to me.
They lied to me.
They lied to
you at
all of us.
different places.
I literally said, I was just like, I asked a question that I knew the answer to and waited for the answer, and they lied. And then I came on the pod the next week and was like, they're lying to everyone. and then videos came out of them lying to people. Like,
I just take
it's
the fine
bullshit.
now. I just take the fine and write them a letter back.
Yeah, it's
Say
not
fuck off.
it's
You're not
not
my
worth-
government. No, I don't even.
So you've
bother
never
with it.
paid the fine?
Nah, hell
and,
no.
And no issues?
No, not at all.
Yeah, brilliant.
To say
Send me that letter that you're writing, and I'll just
Oh.
send that and sign my name.
Send a
Easy.
photocopy of
Easy.
your balls and just send that in.
not quite that
It's,
easy.
it's
but-
fucking annoying when this keeps happening. Like it's frustrating. Like even during the pandemic and everything, like you just keep getting shafted, and then what do you do? You're like, oh, well, what the fuck do I do now?
Also, why is it? I was thinking this today when I heard that McGowan shit. Why is there people that are so hell bent on destroying our future? Like very nefarious shit. Like we're looking at a full dystopia where everyone is slaves. There's no future for the kids. Like everyone's kids are going to have horrible lives, and these cocksuckers, they have kids.
Yeah.
And
What do
they're-
they get out of it? What? It must be good. It must be something good.
Yeah.
Well, it
Like-
was $6 million from McGowan, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think it was about $6 million. That
Yeah, he went from
netted
2 to
Well, it's
eight.
probably more than
yeah.
that by now.
But that's not the only thing, man. Like you think about the kids in so many respects. Our government's fucked and trying to fuck us continuously, and now you have the NPCs trying to get drag queens to fucking sexualize children and read them books in. Is it Bonnaroo Library or something that they're doing it?
It was
Oh,
up
really?
there.
Yeah, somewhere up there.
I want to
then
explain this for idiots. Like a fucking like cross-dressing or that. What do they call
Drag
it?
queens.
Drag queens.
Drag queen.
That is a sexual kink.
Totally.
If you are fucking doing this, you're trying to normalize it. Like in that photo in front of 3-year-old children, that is sexualizing children. They should not know about sex or anything to do with it. And then everyone's trying to say they've got to learn acceptance. No, they don't need to know about anything sexual until they come of age.
Yeah.
So stop fucking. You've got like a 30 or 40-year-old adult with this sexual kink in a fucking classroom of
Grooming
3-year-old children.
I mean, obviously you
trying
don't
to
want your own
normalise
kid in
it.
there, but
Yeah.
like if some retard's going to take their son or daughter to see a fucking.
But this is the
see that
thing.
with
video,
that
it's
is
like,
that's
you're a
pedophilia.
retard.
But
Like,
you don't-
Okay,
can't-
but then let's bust that down to a public school forum, right?
That's exactly what happened in Victoria.
Yeah, so you can't afford private education, so you put
Oh,
your
no,
kid,
I'd be
you put your-
pissed,
yeah,
for
but
sure.
you put your kid through the public system,
Yeah.
and then because it's attached to the government's woke, then
They can
it's a
start
flow-on effect.
counselling. They can start counselling without your permission.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
in
that-
Victoria.
obviously, I think that's
We've
all
read
fucked.
that on here.
Yeah.
It's fucked,
Yeah.
man. It's,
And they
the
can
problem
deem
is
them a
that
mature minor as well.
There's no
fucking slab chimes in.
There's no end to this. That's the problem. Unless we end it now, there's no end to it. It's when they add the P onto the fucking alphabetic spaghetti committee, you
Yeah.
know, and then all the like. That's
No,
literally.
well,
Whereas
I wasn't
pedophilia
talking
are the
about it in
worst
school.
thing
I
ever.
was talking about, you know, in America, I don't know if they have it here. They probably will start, where they'll have an event. It'll be literally at a bar
Most
where kids
libraries are
shouldn't fucking
public.
go anyway.
Most libraries are public.
All right, sure. So, like, they're purposely taking their kid to see this fucking cunt with his dick out and shit. It's like, there's always going to be retards like that. Like, they think it's more acceptable now to do it, which is a bad thing. But,
Yeah.
but like, I'm like, you're just an idiot. Like,
My argument with this whole thing is that if you have to argue that we need to normalize something, it's not normal for a reason, because the majority don't want it.
Aren't they just appropriating women?
Pretty
yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Isn't that pretty much?
Well, they're
what
taking
doing? But it's
over-
okay, right?
They're
It's-
taking over womanhood, and
Yeah.
they're like, all these women are letting it happen, which blows my fucking mind. They're like, yes, queen, get it, girl, rah. And it's just like, no. Like,
I know.
It's got something to do
they
with
just
that,
took your opportunity.
Yeah.
They took it away
Also,
from you. Are
this
you
is the
fucking
simple
serious?
fact. Like pedophilia has always been the worst thing ever anyone can do,
Yeah.
and now it's creeping in, and we've been saying
Not
this for
creeping in,
ages.
75%. That's a lot.
What's
Yeah,
that?
oh, it's creeping into the light, into fucking the public square now.
Yeah.
But like,
I guess
I
they're
think
good,
it's-
they're
I
good
think
at
it's-
creeping, but I guess that's
They
their
are
thing,
good.
isn't it? They're
I
good
think
at
it's
creeping.
based off that always having to like push boundaries, and it's a lefty thing. You know, back in the day, it was tattoos and all that shit. We've talked about it before. And I think this is what it is now. It's like they want to push some kind of boundary. Having 50 tats is not being fucking like, you know, it's not being cool or fucking edgy anymore. So the next edgy thing to do is for some fucking reason is to show your kids trannies and shit like that. I don't know why.
And
but-
also, you don't need to teach them about love. You don't need to teach them how straight people love each other.
They'll figure
you
it
don't
out.
teach 3-year-olds about that shit. You teach them about fucking, I don't know, crayons
But you
and
educate-
drawing
That's a good point.
retarded
That's a good point,
pictures.
mate. So
You
it's blue.
But you educate them when they hit puberty. And you'll know when they hit puberty because they'll turn into a massive cunt.
Yeah.
And you'll be like, he's arrived at puberty. And then you fucking guide them through it. And if they're like, I want to suck dick, you'll be like, that's great. Suck all the fucking dicks, whether you're male or female. I don't give a shit. But let's show you the safe way to do this. Let's show you the right way of, expressing that without having to groom fucking 6-year-olds into having a predetermined idea of what is normal
Dude,
and what is not.
those
They don't
children with
know.
3
They
are
don't
the oldest.
understand.
Well,
they
half the
can't
ones I've
possibly
seen, the
understand
kids
what's
aren't
going
enjoying
on.
it
And
either.
if they do understand, they're a victim of sexual abuse more than likely.
The kids aren't, most of the time weren't enjoying it. Everything I've seen, they're just like, why am I
fucking
here?
hilarious,
I want to
yeah.
go play in the sandpit and shit.
Yeah.
Like, fucking hell.
And they're looking at it just being like, what's that, Dad?
And the
they're
mum-
like, that's a fucking
The
faggot.
mum and dad are like,
And it's like,
"Look
you
at
can't
his
say
cock."
that. You can't say that in here. And you're like, that's a faggot.
And they've got the kids like staring at their crush. They're, look at his downstairs mix-up. Look straight into his downstairs mix-up.
Downstairs
Are you
mix-up.
accepting this?
Yeah. Do you love this? Do you love this?
Do you want me to give you a double mastectomy? I will. I'll cut your tits right off.
She's like goo goo gaga. I can't even speak yet.
Has morality and morals just gone out the window?
It has, man.
Like,
100%.
what's the go?
No,
there,
because they
you
don't
know?
think it's not immoral. They think it is moral because they're breaking the traditional
Stereotype.
foundation of what morals are in a
And
way.
being inclusive
Yeah,
and
that's
loving.
right.
It's like, no.
How about you
keep-
guys go have your society with no kids and no future?
Yeah.
And let us.
Well, that's kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying like
Like-
this shit's going to happen as long as if I had a son or a daughter, they're not being exposed to it themselves. You can be a retard and take your son to something. I'm going to call you a retard
Yeah,
for
but
it.
you can't let kids be
A faggot
victims of
retard.
pedophilia.
No,
you just
100% you can't.
And you can't
No.
let them
Well,
be
that's a
groomed.
law thing, right? And technically, this should be a law that you can't fucking expose children to
Sexual
people like
ideas.
that.
Yeah.
Well, it
Right.
is. It is. It's.
Yeah.
It literally is. Go to a fucking
Yeah.
movie. Go to a movie.
Yeah,
It's already
R18,
there's legislation with stuff
all
like
that
that.
shit.
But
Yep.
then they're like, okay, we'll take away the fact that it's filmed and we'll just do it live and it's fine.
Have
Yeah.
you noticed
It's
in
like, are you
every
kidding me?
movie they depict real young children now and all the series falling in love and making out and whatever, and they'll be like 10, younger, maybe 8, and you're like, why is this
Muhammad
an
coming?
adult show? Yeah. It's an adult show with like 2 young like preteens falling in love and making out. It's an adult show, and
And
even if-
fucking and shit. Dude, on top of that, you look at things like TikTok and Instagram Reels, and you got all the whores that go on there. And you see, and I actually saw this video the other day. I should have saved it because it was fucking perfect, man. It was this girl who was doing like a analyzation of another girl's Instagram Reel. And this girl's like all dolled up, but she's acting like a child, and she's got like a kid's voice that she's miming to while she's got a rig out. And she was like, "You're promoting pedophilia."
Yep.
She's like, "You are inadvertently, whether you know it or not, you are creating this problem. And because you're doing this, you're giving people, especially teenage boys who are on this website, fucking,
Credence.
you're allowing them to fucking fulfill this fantasy, and you're building that fantasy for them.
Yep.
You're creating pedos.
Yep.
Like, you're part of the fucking problem. And it's so true, man. Like, all that shit needs to fucking go.
and they're trying to
And
find
it's another reason why I
excuses.
fucking hate women.
An excuse. An excuse that that all their excuses are always they're like, well, you do this and that's even worse, or that's just as bad. It's like, no, there's no that's just as bad. You can't groom children, full stop.
Yeah.
There's no trying to find something someone else does that's bad to justify.
Well, just
what
pointing the
you do.
finger.
Yeah.
That's like literally like when you're at work and you get in trouble and they're like, did you do this work? And you're like, nah, fucking Bob did it. And then they're like, oh, I'll go ream Bob then. And you're just like, yes, got away with that. Thank fuck.
It-
You know,
dude,
it's,
it's
the
been
same, it's the
being-
same fucking thing.
It's been being pushed so hard the last few weeks. I just keep seeing it. I guess it's because it's Pride Month or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Is that not over yet? Jesus.
I don't know. But it's
I'm very proud this month because I'm pedophobic and I'm a proud pedophobic and I want nothing to do with pedophiles. If I see you grooming children, I'll kick you in the nuts.
yeah.
I've
And that
been with my
includes trans people.
I've been with my
pedos.
missus like 15 years. Where's my Pride Day? What do I get?
Yeah.
I'm getting fucking
Oh,
nothing.
you're
eh?
a white cis male. You've already gotten everything.
Oh,
yeah,
right,
don't
yeah,
you
shit.
realise?
That's right.
Did you
Yeah,
see
yeah.
the
fucking worked for it, mate.
No, you didn't. It was given to you, all right?
there was a trans, I don't know what it was, trans male, female, dog, whatever. it
The
was.
latest shooter
But
in America was
the-
trans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there was this.
Did they
this-
shoot their cock off? Is that what they did? They're
they
like,
would've
I
liked-
don't want it anymore.
They would have liked to, yeah. Yeah.
Sorry. go
But
on,
there's, I was just there, he was just stating that a lot of us don't agree with this shit and the grooming of children. He's like, this is wrong.
Yeah.
He's like, just because I feel a certain way or whatever, what's going on is fucking wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are people starting to call it out, but this whole thing and the trick was that people don't realize is they lumped all of the sexualities outside of heterosexuality into one thing. So then they could all put the victimhood on them
Yeah.
all, and then make them one group that's oppressed.
You can't battle an idea that you don't know the extent of. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of gays, lesbians, bis, some of them don't want anything to do with that shit. You know, but they all get lumped into that category, and you
What does gay
Dude,
have
my
to do with
brother's-
trans? What are they? They're nothing.
My
I know,
brother's
right?
a perfect example. He's not the biggest, like, he's just like, let people be people, do their
Yeah,
thing.
I
But
totally
he's just a
get it.
gay man. And fucking, like, he doesn't buy into any of this shit, man. Like, me and him call each other faggots all the time. He's just
Yeah.
a regular dude that loves dick. Men.
Yeah.
That's all you
That's
need to
great.
be. Be comfortable who you are. Don't force your shit on other people.
Mm-hmm.
He tried that shit for a year. He used to get fucking butthurt when he used the term faggot, and that it died so fast because
Yeah.
he realized he's like, this isn't me.
People are gonna
I'm
be
still
people.
figuring out my sexuality, but my sexuality isn't who I am. I still have a sense of humor. I still can,
Well, I don't know about you guys, but at fucking 14 or 15, I had enough trouble trying to find out who the fuck I was without having the option to fucking chop my dick off or
being
cha-
told that because you don't feel
Yeah.
normal.
Yeah.
You
Being
feel
pushed
Because that's
into
not going to
that.
add any level of confusion
we
to
were
yourself.
around, if we were around, like, if we were
Fuck.
14 now, probably 3 of us would have already chopped our cocks off.
Yeah, and trying to get tits. I just want to play with some tits, man. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, dude.
that's true.
Raquel's fucking on it. She's just saying, what about women that use a filter to make themselves look like a child and then go on their OnlyFans? This is the shit we're talking about, man. It's all
Ew. They do that?
It's all grown. Yeah, well, I was just saying when
Oh,
you were
really?
gone,
That's
I was
fucked.
saying that like you come across Instagram reels of chicks who are hell like whored up, but they're like doing the voiceover things like a kid, and then it's just like, dude, it's literally just like making pedophiles. They're pedophile factories. That's what they are. It's fucked. It's so fucked, bro.
How good is it? I love this. 'Cause no matter what, you have a serious conversation because we do this. Haters like, it's not pedophilia. It's mind attracted persons. Don't be a bigot. Like that is where it's going, and the fact that they have brought that terminology out now
Yeah.
should make people aware of where this.
You
is
know, it was the
actually
pedo
going.
that brought it out too. He's like, how can I make myself sound less like a pedo?
Yeah.
Minor attracted person.
He's a pedophile with a marketing degree. That's all it is. Eh? Oh, but how many
Yeah.
years? How many years are we away from maths becoming maps, where it's married at pedophile site, and it's just a pedophile picking kids out of a park, being like, him, marry me.
It's a van.
Yeah.
It's just the weddings in a van. Like,
And there's all these fucking like
Well-
blue haired justice warriors like waving fucking Ukraine flags and pedo flags.
Oh,
being
they're
like,
throwing-
yes, queen, yes, marry that baby.
they're throwing candy
love
for
is love.
confetti at the other kids. They're like,
They're lopping tits off during the ceremony.
But people
There's
didn't
like
even think
a
it was-
transitioning hut out the back, you know.
People didn't even think it was that much.
that's the
sort of
wedding
pedo
cake, a pair of tits.
back in the day anyway. Like Elvis fucked like a 14-year-old, didn't he? And there was some other fucking
Yeah, you're
guys
right.
back in the day that were fucking like young
I
girls.
mean, Muhammad married a 9-year-old, and half
That's
the
right.
fucking half the planet fucking follow him.
That's it.
You know,
Yeah.
They do.
Why is it
Yeah.
that when
It's
people
Ramadan
get,
at the moment.
but why is it when people get power they just want to fuck kids? Why is it Muhammad was doing it? I think wasn't there even like all these like religious cults? It's always like this dude will be like, I forget what it was, but it's some sort of like Buddhist-esque cult where this guy was sleeping with kids and he was telling everyone that he was only sharing the bed and it was to tempt himself, but to make sure he could like deal with the temptation and not succumb to it.
Pedophile.
Yeah, but he's 100%. I can't remember the religion, but this guy was just like, he's like, give me all your sons and daughters.
The religion's
and
called
I'll
LBGTQ plus P.
But literally,
Yeah,
like
it is a religion.
this dude was selling it to everyone. He's like, they'll stay the night with me. I won't do anything. It's just they're there to tempt me, and I'm just making sure that I'm still a pure soul and I don't do anything. And it's just like, no, you just want pure souls to like suck the life out of them, ruin their lives, and fuck them.
I mean, it seems to be infiltrating a lot of the elites.
Yeah.
You know, like there's a list here of Australian parliamentarians or high up officials, you know, and
Yep.
There's heaps.
I wonder who's on Epstein's list. You know, that's probably a pretty fucking big list.
Couple of them.
Apparently, there's like heaps of lists too. Like, there's
Yeah,
that.
it wouldn't surprise me, man.
I don't think that you get into those positions and get to stay there without doing real bad shit, because it seems like what's their way of controlling everyone? Get dirt on you and have something to blackmail you. And then you look at the people, you're like, why the people that get in there, why are they such fucking losers and weirdos?
They definitely are.
Because good normal people that actually want better for society and better for their people never get there, because that you don't get to play that
Or if
game.
they're
Why
faced with
would
that
you?
decision, they don't want to do it. They have a moral compass.
Yeah.
They're like, we will give you everything. Fuck this kid. And they're like, you know what? Send me home.
You know, it's
I
a
ain't
great
doing it.
example, bro. Craig Kelly. You look at that cunt and you're like, he just gives you the creeps, and he's trying to be genuine, and he's just got this look in his eyes like, what have you done behind closed doors?
100% like convinced that Anthony Albanese fucks kids after watching him cry delivering The Voice today.
Oh,
I
Dude,
am.
cry?
Yeah, dude. He's like stifling back tears.
No,
like,
fuck
it's
off,
about time that we did. I'm like, you
for
fuck kids.
fuck's sake.
you know how he came to tears, because he's not a good. He doesn't sell himself well. He was just thinking
He's
about
the
all the kids
Aussie
he's
Joe
fucked and
Biden.
how much of a bad person he is, and then he gets a bit of a tear going, and then he's just like, now I'm just going to talk about something completely unrelated, just to show that I have emotion. That's my theory.
crocodile tears, eh? It's
yeah.
it's fucking awkward watching these people try and do this big
It's so
soft-
fake, bro.
Yeah. They do this.
Why would you even try though? You know, like when they get the bloody the prime minister or whatever to like bowl a cricket ball or some shit,
Yeah.
and he just absolutely fucks it every time.
Yeah.
Why would you even put yourself in that position? You'd be like, I'm not good at sport. I'm a politician.
Yeah.
How about I just do politician
Dude,
things?
it's because they are trying. It's like, I love
Like,
the
look,
the
I'm
lizard
really a
people
normal
thing.
person.
It's like lizard people trying to.
I'm definitely not a robot.
The lizard
I can bowl a
analogies-
cricket ball.
Like
Whether
Tony
they're
Abbott
li-
eating the onion.
Oh, bro.
Do you remember Julia
That's
Julia?
the most NPC shit ever. He's like, cylindrical, must be an apple. It's not cylindrical. Circular. you know.
Julia Gillard kicking the footy, and fucking Howard bowling the ball straight.
Why?
Fucking Morrison tackling that kid.
Yeah,
Bro,
yeah, in the
that's so
soccer.
good, bro.
Oh, yeah.
This is so ridiculous.
One guy that was actually good because he must have played basketball was Barack Obama. He can actually sink threes pretty
Yeah.
well. Yeah,
He loves
Yeah,
to
but
sink
that's-
threes, I hear.
he probably does. He's here at the moment, right?
Dude,
Is
him
he?
and
Yeah.
Albanese standing together in Sydney, and Bill Gates being here, like that goes to show you all you need to know about this country and where it's at. You got these pieces of shit coming in. Why is Bill Gates here? What the fuck is he doing
to
here?
pick
Why
up
is he
a
anywhere,
fresh,
for fuck's sake?
fresh sea container of kids. That's why.
Right.
Because that dude is definitely a pedophile. He literally has a fucking written agreement with his wife where he's allowed to like traverse the
Well, I actually
world
don't mind
and
that. I think that's
fuck
pretty
other
good.
people. I know you don't mind it, but do
Yeah.
you think he's fucking of age women?
Probably
Or
not.
do you think he's fucking kids because he's definitely on Epstein's list? We know it. And then he was
Well,
like,
yeah.
oh, I don't really know the guy very well. And it's like, why were you there like 27 times?
His
And then he's
missus-
like,
no,
no, he's
100%
like,
agree.
I don't know him. No, it's like,
his
bruh.
missus threw him under the bus.
Yeah.
And he's just like,
Yeah.
fucking.
Oh, he's a horrible.
He's like,
fucking
give me
human.
all the Africans. I got a new vaccine to test out. I'm
Yeah.
going to give them all polio. I don't give a fuck.
It's funny how he wants to fuck all the white boys and kill all the African boys with vaccines.
Oh, how good is fucking Africa at the moment? They're not taking any shit. Have you seen that fucking president of Ghana? Is it Ghana? He's just fucking going hard. I don't actually agree with it, but he doesn't give a fuck. He's just like,
Yeah.
no gays.
Yep.
No more gays, don't want gays. Then they're like, where do we go? You get fucked.
Get
Like,
out.
You're
Get
in jail
out.
for
Yeah.
20 years if you say you're gay.
He's
Yeah.
like,
You've
why
got,
are you gay?
You've got,
Why are you
you've got 3 days
Yeah.
You got 3 days. Get the fuck out of the
And he
country,
doesn't
or we're
care.
gonna kill you.
And when the USA
Yeah.
said they're going to sanction him, he's like, I don't care. They don't do shit for us.
He's like, you
take
got,
him.
he's like,
Take
you've
him.
got 3 days to unsuck that dick, motherfucker. Otherwise, you get executed. Firing squad.
yeah, that's
He goes,
hectic,
he's standing
bro.
there and he goes, there's all these beautiful women around and you go for a disgusting looking man.
Oh, I saw that.
It's so
actually.
fucking good. He just doesn't care, eh?
Is he the same dude who's like, why are you gay?
No, it's a different guy.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
are gay.
You are gay.
That guy's just a
They all look
reporter.
the
He's a
same to
pastor,
me.
eh?
But
Yeah, they all
you?
look the same to me, but I'm a
so, yeah.
racist, so.
well, at the same time, I'm like, why do you give a fuck? Just let the cunt be gay. Who cares? Like, it doesn't do anything. What is bad about it? It's got probably a
Well-
religious thing, I guess. I don't know.
Well, they live- they live
I
in
think
a-
they're mostly Christian.
I think they're worried about the destruction of families. Eh?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
That's fair. You could
legit.
say that.
Like-
That's fair.
And also,
But I mean, if you look at
population,
if you
they're
look
like,
at
it's a pretty
percentage-wise,
fucking harsh place to live.
yeah.
So they're probably like, we need you to
Maybe,
keep breeding. Like,
Yeah.
Well, like it's 3% of the population in America. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know in Australia. Oh, in Australia, 0.17%, no, 0.017% are trans in
Yeah.
Australia. And we're dictating rules and shit regarding heaps of shit. And
They're the
trans
ones- they're the
bathrooms
1%, eh?
for that amount of percentage of people.
Nah, me and my brother had an argument about that. And if you were to talk to a uni student, they would say about 1.5%, mate. All right. I'm more on
reckon?
your side. All right. But they
Is that
reckon.
what he said?
Yeah. No, that's intersex. People that are born intersex.
Doesn't that go
Oh,
to
okay.
show
I
that
was
it's
just talking
born intersex.
Yeah.
Bollocks.
I know, right? That's
Doesn't
what
that
I
go
That's,
to-
that's such bollocks,
Yeah,
man.
that
Just,
goes
just
to
because
show
you
that
see it
it's-
on social media every day, does it? Dude, people who think like us aren't on social media all the time because we know it's bullshit and it sucks. Like, for the most
Yeah.
part, we don't engage with it because it's nonsense.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, oh, but everyone agrees with me. It's like, dude, only the people you see, like real people, like have a conversation with real
Yeah.
motherfuckers around you.
Yeah.
You're going to be the odd one out everywhere you go,
Oh, yeah.
except for a uni campus. Straight,
Well, it's like
or
that.
maybe a
It was
woke
like
cafe.
that lesbian that Josh was talking to. She would be online. She'd be
Oh, the loudest voice in the
100%.
room,
She'd be great.
right?
Everyone would
yeah.
love her.
Yeah.
She
yeah,
comes
but
into
then
the
in
real
real
world.
life, she's fucking crying and running away because
Yeah.
she can't actually handle a real conversation
Conversation.
about what's
Yeah.
going on.
Oh, okay. That's his
'Cause
name.
there are-
President Nana. Oh, fuck, how do you say that?
Nana Akufo
Addo.
Addo. No, you got to
Yeah,
click on
click.
the fucking hyphen, bro, for sure.
Yeah.
Akufo Addo.
Oh, that's cool.
100%.
Yeah,
I
he's
love,
on
dude.
that.
I wish I could speak that language. That shit's so good, man. Have you seen those videos of like the African dudes and they're like, "What's your name?" and the dude just starts being a cricket like at midnight, and he's just like just clicking away, and you're like, "Dude, that's,
Holy Jesus.
It's, it's so cool, man. It's honestly.
Does that happen when they're sleeping? They just wake up and they think someone's talking to them. It's just a cricket outside.
Someone breaks into their house and they're like, "Give me all your shit," and it just sounds like a cricket's in the living room. They got Mortine out, just trying to spray him. They're like, "No, I'm trying to rob you," and they're like, "Get out, cricket." I wish I could speak that language. That shit is actually so cool, man.
What do the ticks mean? What is the what?
I don't know.
Let's
look
find out what
look
that
it
means.
up, man. They're fucking sick.
I think it's like, you know, other languages roll their tongues. It's that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like an inflection,
what
right?
language is it?
Is it Afrikaans? They
Nah,
don't.
it's
No,
not
they don't
Afrikaans.
click. Hey.
Tedo, I'm pretty Tedo did. Her language does though.
Yeah. What? Where was
I-
Ted?
I
What
remember talking
exact country
about
was Tedo from?
Botswana.
Click
Botswana, there you go.
consonants.
So is
click
Suvo.
consonants or
Suvo's
clicks
from
are
there.
speech sounds that occur as consonants in many
Yeah,
languages.
Kosa. That's it. Kosa.
Okay.
And they're like Kosa or some
Suvo would
shit.
be the man.
Oh, it's
to
a
ask.
consonant.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. I'll have to
Just go like African click names.
yeah, that's what this is.
Click and collect.
No, but
Does
dude-
that click and collect?
Click and click. Like, just put your hand out. Hand it over.
Imagine if that meant like.
I'm gonna
imagine
try
if
that
meant like
Woolies next
slut
time.
or
Just
some
go
shit.
No, literally go to YouTube and do like African names
Oh,
with
yeah.
clicks. It's fucking impressive, bro.
Oh, just-
Some of them are fucking ridiculous. They're hell good.
And then I want to go back to who mentioned forced medical procedures? One of us did.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
we'll get
Yeah.
back to it.
Yeah.
So, Billy, there are 11 Africa.
Yes,
Oh, they're in your language.
there is 5 clicks in my language.
So-
Also language.
5.
For me?
That was like 100.
Yeah, that was 8 at least.
Now, I've heard that there is one expression that is very difficult to say in your language. Something about a skunk. The skunk rolls in the grass and breaks his windpipe.
That is a very difficult thing to say it in Xhosa.
Ting.
About the skunk. But in Xhosa it goes this way. Iqaqa, liqeqaqeqeqa,
Oh,
uqaqaqa,
fuck.
liqhawuke, uqhoqho.
That's like an alien language.
Dude, it's so sick, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so it's Koza. I think the language is Moza or something. Dude, it's fucking awesome, man. That's
How
that.
How
Dude, that
crazy is
shit's
it that
fucking sick.
someone was like, let's design the hardest thing to ever say. Like the language that's just impossible to speak. And you could never learn that.
You could. You
reckon?
definitely could. 100%. You're not exposed to it enough. You'd have to live there for years, man. That's like if you learn a language but you don't ever live there. You're never really fluent. You're good at it, but never truly fluent.
There's,
Then you live there, man,
You
and
live
you're
there-
just fucking
You live
rolling.
there
it.
for 10 years and then you're a can of Pringles. Are you just like,
People open a can of Pringles and go, "What are you talking about? Can't you get in a fight with someone?"
that's racist.
There's the same thing in Thai language where there's one word.
I'm never gonna think the same thing when I eat Pringles next. So I'm gonna pop that
Once
shit
you
and be
pop,
like,
you can't stop.
You pop it
Koza.
around someone that speaks that, they just punch you in the face. You're like, what? That was very rude.
Can't believe there's 5 different versions of the click. That's pretty crazy.
He says 5, but it was 8, eh? I reckon it was about that.
There's Thai words where there's just one word, and it's the way you pronounce it in what are like there's a lot of words.
Inflection.
Yeah, is
Tone,
how it's supposed to be taken. You know, like in English we have like there, and there.
Yeah.
But they just have one word,
Yeah.
spelt the same, and you just use a different way of saying the same word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's either good or bad or
Yeah.
offensive or
Yep.
aggressive or
Yep. So,
yeah.
and then the problem is some of the words mean multiple things as well.
Yeah, man.
And so you can end up saying something completely fucking random to someone, but you think it's the right word, but
And
you
then they're
didn't
trying
give
to
the right
fire.
inflection.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard, eh? It's like a completely different style of
The
setup
only
of
thing that's
language.
hard in Thailand is your cock. That's it.
Well, yeah.
Your cock and just the sound of anal beads being pulled. Because that's all he does. This guy goes to fucking Thailand.
These
He
were-
gets,
these
he gets
came
rip
home with
started
him.
through the country.
You can hold them. It's all good.
They came home in his ass. He forgot about it.
Anything
He
to
was
the
like,
clan,
"Oh,
he's
what?"
like, hang on. Crunk. These.
Yeah, they're not legal though. I'll let you have them.
Maybe you should stuff the beads with like little bits of cocaine or something.
Fuck.
No
I wonder
one,
if gay dude does
no
it.
one would want to touch him. They're like, I don't care if there's coke. Just
Yeah.
go.
You're just hoping you're just there like doing Kegels, like fucking trying to burst one of the bags and have a fucking wicked trip home. You're like, got it, yes.
That's happened, hasn't it? When
Then
people,
you learn.
people
Waza.
shelve drugs and it just fucking splits open inside them and they just
Yeah.
they get absolutely fucked up and then die.
It's
Usually
always
people
the
die.
condoms with heroin. That's the number one, right? Where they'll swallow like fucking heaps of fucking heroin in condoms.
But your
they
stomach
won't, like-
acid breaks it down. That's a dumb thing. Like, it breaks anything.
but they won't double bag it either. They'll just like single bag it, and then like 8 bags just fucking burst, and then they're just on the plane. It's like,
Can you imagine trying to swallow one of those big fucking rubber things? It's like, you know when you get a can of tuna and you get a chunk that's dry and you're like, and it like gets stuck here and you're like, I'm gonna die.
well, condoms are
Imagine that.
lubricated. That's why they use them. So it's just like, thanks for coming. There's
What,
a click
they-
in Costa for it. Yeah.
I was going to say, are they African? When they're-
Yeah, it means heroin balloon. Straight down.
It'd be sick to actually, talk to an African person and use the click in when you talk to them. You just be like, yes, achievement.
I'm going to find this video, man. There's a video of Afrikaans dudes or Xhosa people, whatever the fuck. I don't know. I'm very ignorant to it, but
Afrikaans is white.
Yeah.
So that's
Afrikaans, that's
definitely not
Dutch.
Afrikaans then.
It's Dutch, basically.
But yeah,
it's retarded Dutch.
this Xhosa language or something of the like, and they're saying their names, and this dude's literally just like, they do a few ones, and they're like, okay, couple clicks in there, and then the last dude is literally a cricket. He's a cricket at midnight, like, you know, one that keeps you up at night, and you're like, can't fuck off. And
You
he's,
try looking up the chimney, you're like, where is the cunt?
yeah, bro, literally, eh?
He's up on your
I'll
ceiling.
find it, yeah.
Up on your ceiling trying to have a conversation
maybe
with
it's
you while you're
like
trying to go to bed.
Hell Bogan. You know, like when you have a Hell Bogan dude, you can't understand him. Maybe that's like what the click guys are. They're just dudes that you can't
a
understand. Their
rocker,
slang
some-
is that hard that you just all
Like
the
a
time, and that's
full-
all you get.
Full Rockingham, like.
Yeah.
Do you reckon that accent is just the didgeridoo? that sounded like a didgeridoo to me.
Did, yeah.
Yeah, hard.
Yeah,
It's just take the breaks out of the sentence.
Well,
That's a
everyone I
didgeridoo.
talk to,
Join
especially-
all the words.
especially if you go overseas, everyone I talk to, they say, I can understand most Australians, but I can't understand anyone from Queensland. They all say it, everyone. So it must be Queensland's accent is just next level thick.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
real Orca.
I couldn't. This guy comes up to me when I was in Thailand, I think, and he's this Asian guy, right, at a burger joint. He comes up to me, he goes, "You're Australian, right?" Because I'd been there a few times, and I'm like, "Yeah," and he goes, "That guy over there, he wants something, but I don't know what he wants." And I'm like, "Did you ask him?" And he's like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "And?" And he goes, "Well, he said he's Australian. I got that much, so you might be
think you're
able
the
to."
Australian
I had to be an
whisperer?
interpreter. And then when I asked him where he's from, he said Queensland. I'm like, okay.
But then
Yeah,
you
got ya.
told the Asian person
Yeah,
in,
then I
in
told the
English.
Asian, in English, what he actually wanted.
All right, yeah. So
Yeah, that was fucking hilarious, eh?
It's probably because he was using heaps of slang. I think people from Queensland use a lot of slang in
Yeah.
that too.
Well, you got to if you're Aussie and you go overseas, like especially if it's a country where they don't their first language isn't English, you just have to slow your voice down and put bigger pauses. Like Americans are really good overseas because they talk so drawn out already. You know, but English and Australian, we just fucking speed through sentences
Throw it all
and they
together.
can't understand it. So you just have to really slow it down. Like, I noticed that pretty quickly that when I go away, I just slow everything down because I know they're not going to get what I'm talking about.
you even find yourself doing their accent for a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
You're like,
and you miss words out too because you know they don't use it.
yeah.
So you want something instead of do you want something?
Yeah.
You just say that.
I hate it when people do that. Like you're in Asia or something.
have to.
And people speak to them. I'm always like, it's kind of insulting.
Yeah. Catch
You're like,
yourself out doing
you
it.
like
Fuck.
this? Or like, just, speaking to them like they're retarded because they're probably like, fuck you, you fucking
Oh no,
white
a lot
dog.
of them know how to speak English really well. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, some don't.
But you just look like a dumb cunt doing
Fuck
it.
yeah, you do.
People that do it. Just
You look even more dumb when you try and speak their language and they just laugh at you. The amount of times that happened to me. I'm like, I thought I was fucking good, and I'll try and say some sentence, and they're like, "What are you talking about?"
You go into the
Speak
wrong.
English.
You go into the wrong Asian countries. If you go to Japan and try and speak Japanese and you're shit at it, they fucking froth you.
Oh,
And they're like, no, it's like this. You say it like
They help
this.
ya?
Oh fuck yeah, hard, bro. When I was over there, man, I did like a study tour over there, and part of the trip was like our teacher was like, "We're gonna drop you here. It's 5 k's from where we need to be. Get there, figure it out." And
Fuck, all right.
and so you just like
You're like
dropped in the
5
city.
years old.
Yeah. And so I went straight up to the oldest dude ever, and I was just like, "I'll suck your dick if you can drop me here." But I didn't know how to say it properly, so he just took me there. Didn't have to suck it. No, but literally, I went up to this old dude, and I was just like, "Excuse me, I'm looking for this place," and he was like, "Oh yeah, it's like this way," and I was like, "I don't understand," like, because he didn't say it in a basic way. He said it in an advanced way. So I was just like, "Dude, I literally said, was like, I get like this word and this word, but the in between bits," and he was like, "No worries, follow me," and he fucking walked us there.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, they fucking froth
I
foreigners.
mean,
that
at
wanna,
least you're
like,
giving it
learn.
a fucking go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I fucked up because I went to a shop and I asked to get a bunch of bananas. Bananas is guai, right? And cock is kawaii.
Oh no,
And I said
Right.
cock.
can I have a bunch of cock?
Can I have a bunch of cocks? And they're just like,
They just brought you out.
Give me 1
50,
minute.
A bunch of young boys on a string.
No, he just writes down an address. He's like, "Go here,"
yeah.
So
and
what,
you're like, "I'm staying on that street," because that's why you're there.
Yeah.
oh, the child brothel. That's what I'm saying. What were you up? So what's this about? That you
All
want-
right. Well, we've got a website up called rule92.com, right? And
I'll
Rule
bring it up.
92 relates to forced medical procedures and stuff like that. And one of our guys has actually gone through a court case, got finalised sort of midway through last year. He ended up going to jail for like a year and a half, something like that.
For doing what?
Basically, there was a kerfuffle in the magistrate's court. He had a little argument with his neighbour, so they were there for a civil proceeding at the magistrate's court. He did the whole I'm not the person on the thing, and they were like, okay, well, an arrest warrant has been issued for Yuhar Kiskonen, whatever his name is, and then he was arrested in that courtroom and kept in prison for like 18 months.
Oh,
And during that time, he went from being of sound mind, right? Because they have to be, you can't be insane and be put into prison, right? Within a few months, he was found to be, they thought he had delusions, right? Because he was telling the councillors about this flag and about occupation and how the government sort of is only, they're administering the Commonwealth. They're not really our government or our parliament. They're just an administration that's sitting over the top, right? And anyway, so the cops were asking for a 3-year supervision order once he left. So that 3 years, there was like 77 conditions that he had to do. Go to the police station weekly, banned from social media. There was like 70 things on this list. And basically the Justice Lonergan, I think it is, found that a curial right exists and that it cannot be terroristic in nature, because they were trying to say that he's a terrorist. They actually arrested him in the lead up. We consecrated this flag. Basically, we had a ceremony in each capital city on the same day in 2020. So it was a lead up to that event over in Sydney that they arrested him, and the Justice said quite clearly that no matter how, because he was putting videos up on YouTube saying the politicians are going to get hung, you know, if we do this right, they're fucking dead, you know, and went full on it. And the Justice said, no matter how uncomfortable or threatened you are by these words, it's simply political advocacy. And
So he was an actual good judge.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the judge admitted on record and also named our council, named the kingdom, named the king, right, which is a whole different story in itself. But basically, it's all on court record, and they say a curial right exists, you know, and
So explain a curial right.
it means we've got a right to overthrow the government when it's done right.
How is it done right?
How many people need to be...
It's done right it's done right biblically, all right? Whether we like it or not, the foundations of this country are biblical,
Yeah.
all right? You go to a shrine, you go to a courtroom, they've got oaths, they've got a Bible, like Shrine of
You
Remembrance.
still have to swear on the Bible.
Yeah, and it's got, you know, verbs from the Bible all over the Shrine of Remembrance and here in Kings Park as well. You know, whether
We are a Christian nation.
correct,
Yeah.
and that's the way forward, is to sort of step out of that citizenship and step back into faith and back into a belief in a God and a system. And I hate that word too. Like, I view I'm not too big on it. I view God as each and every one of us. We're all godly. Where 2 or 3 people are, that's where God is.
I believe it's inside us. I believe
Yeah,
in
100%.
I believe in a higher consciousness.
Yeah.
Whether I don't know what it is. There's something, but I don't know what it is.
You're agnostic.
I just believe in the power of the universe, and that might
Yeah.
be God. Just the fact that things happen that are so out of explanation that it seems godly.
And we're
this, but
connected
I just
in
think
some way.
it's just powers bigger than our comprehension and
It is.
understanding.
I think that's
But
what
it
God
could be
is.
gravity. It could
Everyone's-
be space and time expanding and contracting and doing whatever it does. Who knows?
So when you step out of that citizenship and back under this flag in a place of faith where God sort of exists on paper, right?
Like a church.
You bring yourself back into that old jurisdiction, right? And those people had rights. They had a Bill of Rights, right? Here in Australia, the Bill of Rights 1688 is still in force.
1688.
Yeah. All right. And it's got a section there about bearing arms that as a Protestant, right, which is basically someone that's not a Catholic. If you're a Catholic, you can fuck off.
Yeah.
But if you're a Protestant, you're allowed to have a gun. Right? And basically
Or a right to own a gun?
yeah,
Is it allowed to have or right to own?
it's a right to bear arms.
Yeah,
Like
cool.
the
protect
Americans, you know, it's like
Yeah,
the
for
right,
self-defense,
the
yeah.
right to defend your life,
Yeah.
liberty, and property.
Yep, correct. And people say, oh, it doesn't exist here. And I can just, like, the Act of Succession 2015, right? Every state in the country put up one of these bills in their state legislature, and then it got adopted into the federal legislature. And it is, the act itself is making changes to that Bill of Rights and to the Act of Settlement 1700.
How can they make changes to it if they're not a part of it?
Exactly.
So because I know about that they've changed the constitution so much. It's like a new constitution basically.
Yeah.
But that's their one.
That's their one. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is where the idea is to step back into the old one and actually, literally build our government from scratch again. Like it's a big task and it's a mammoth task, and it's a long road ahead. But I don't see any other way. I don't see a politician going into Parliament and taking that oath, being able to tear it down.
I just only see the way as almost like a coup.
Yeah, it has to be.
Like,
There's no other way.
Or a civil war.
You can't go in there and try and change things because it's too big for even if 50 people got in there, it's still not going to change.
No, you got to build it from the outside. You got to build it again.
Or you can build your own and then overthrow it.
That's kind of Bosey's idea. His thing was to never get in, but they just were doing that as an extra.
What we need, I reckon you would,
that they came up with. But to me, because I haven't really I've heard of this sort of the common law stuff, little bits, but not too much. But I've followed Ricardo Bosey and his party a lot, just because they'd seem like the only hope that I've seen. And
they had the right idea.
We need some ruthless
start with one
cunt
state, to win the state, and then expand from there.
But
That's
we need some
idea.
ruthless cunt to go in there and just tear the fucking place apart. And who better to do it but a fucking lieutenant or like colonel?
I mean, I
SAS.
have also other questions about that because I don't think when it's a military person involved, it's a good idea. But then you're saying, and they were saying, well, Guru was saying that they don't really want to even be in the parliament. They just want to fuck it, get rid of the olds, install people that are good at what they do, that are on the right path, and then get the fuck out.
And
I think that
their
makes
whole
sense to
thing
me.
was tear down the government and then kind of do what you guys are saying.
I don't think we even need to
have
tear
a referendum.
I don't think we need to tear it down. I think once we actually get a bit of momentum and start building, a divided house falls.
I know.
You can't have two systems operating at the same time. And one is obviously, well, in my opinion, it's fucking obvious, better than the other. You've actually got rights.
How do you sell that to majority of people?
People
That's
here,
what you
they
need to
don't
do.
even want rights.
No, they don't.
But most
That's the thing.
people, you can tell them they're getting absolutely fucked, and they'll just go and
Dude,
I don't care.
My mum froths American politics. She's all about it, and I'm always like, I think the Bill of Rights is a good thing. She goes, no, it's too complicated because then everyone starts suing each other and you end up in court and it's arguing whose rights outweigh the other. I'm like, so a fair system where you actually come and you go, I think this, and then they're like, I think this, and these are the facts, present the facts, and then someone judges that, and then your fellow people judge that, and then the outcome is
Because she
determined.
likes an authoritarian system where it's just
Well,
like,
all
that seems
do.
fair to me.
My mum
That
does
seems a
as well.
lot fair to me, where you argue your rights, they argue their rights, and then the people, a small section of the people, basically go, "Here's what we think."
Well, how
and
do
here's
people
we see
not
it."
want a Bill of Rights?
I don't know.
What the fuck is wrong with you? What, you don't want to have
don't
a
wanna
Bill
have
of
rights.
Rights that can't be overrun by the government? Because I know for a fact, way over 50% of people that got that jab did not want to fucking one.
I
Did
didn't
not
wanna
want
get
to fucking get it and felt pushed into a corner. Probably more, probably most.
Yeah.
And now
I didn't
fucking
feel pushed. I was pushed into a corner.
Yeah.
I literally didn't have a choice. I was not going to give up what I was doing an apprenticeship at the time.
Yeah.
I was 2 and a bit years into it. I wasn't going to turn my back on that.
No, that's not a
because
free-
no matter where I worked, that was being implemented, and the jobs that I could work that didn't implement that were paying fuck all. My apprenticeship, I was actually getting paid somewhat decently compared to what I would have been paid if I went for
But
a job where the jab wasn't
whole
mandatory.
idea was to make you not be able to live in this society. if you
Exactly. It
don't
was
comply.
livelihoods, or take the jab.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna fucking hold on to their livelihoods.
Well,
you know?
and then-
We're accustomed to it.
I mean, I would be interested to know a lot of people, not you because you didn't seem to be that affected. Maybe you are, but
I've definitely had issues from it.
yeah, I'd be interested to know if you went back in time, like some people that were affected by it, and had the choice again, what would you choose if you went back?
To be
If you had
honest,
hindsight.
man, considering like my family and what I could fall back on if I wouldn't want to do that, not at my age, but I probably could have.
Yeah.
If I
Oh,
wanted
no, I mean,
to.
we didn't know how long this was going to last.
Yeah.
I'm talking more like, say, someone like my housemate that had pericarditis.
Yeah.
Okay, I said before he took it, I said,
Don't do it.
Fuck your job. You've got plenty of savings. This will blow over in however long, and then just get a shit kicker cleaner job for a while. You know, I'll help you pay the fucking mortgage or whatever. No problem. I said, your job's not worth it. And he was like, oh, he's stressing out, you know, like everyone was.
You
and so
pretty
he
much
took
had
it
to be
and got
working for yourself,
pericarditis. Well, I was. So
No, but that's what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
you literally almost had to be working for yourself. You left your job and
Yeah.
started working pretty much for yourself. You were already working for yourself.
yeah, I was, yeah.
Like,
But also,
But like,
it
what
was, a
what was your
horrible
choice be
fucking
then,
time.
right? If someone actually did say to you, like him, okay, here's your options: keep your job, but you're going to have pericarditis, or
well,
quit your
that's
job.
different.
What are you
Yeah.
going to do?
If they told the fucking truth,
Yeah.
if they told the truth, we're like, take this. We have no idea what it's going to do to you.
I think
Yeah.
they did.
You're literally
I think
rolling the
they do.
dice.
They know exactly what it is. They've been testing that forever.
No,
There's a-
but they didn't tell us what it was. That's the
Yeah.
problem. That's what I'm saying. If they were honest with it, where they were like, listen, if you want to keep your job, you have to take this. But here's the data we have currently on it, and here's the list of side effects you can get. And they deliver the yellow pages to your front fucking door.
9 pages, or
Like-
whatever it was.
No, it was more
Dude,
than that.
they were testing. They were testing
it's
this
fucking
mRNA
ridiculous.
shit in the 90s, right, on mice. Karen Kingston showed this the other day, and
Oh,
they
actually, speaking of
fucking they knew when they tested it that it gets into the DNA.
Yes, I
and
have a map.
creates DNA
I have
and
a
then
little
releases
graph here.
DNA,
One
and
sec.
then. Shush for a sec, and then it
No,
comes.
this
It comes
is to do
out.
with what you're talking about.
Oh, sorry.
This is the exact graph.
Just
shut up.
shush,
All right,
shush
I won't
for a
play the
second.
stuff that you're talking about.
Dude, not shut up.
Now bring that up again.
Shush for a sec.
So I thought
That
you were
is-
I
that is
thought you were
are
going to
you a
bring up the
dad? Shush for a
conspiracy
sec.
thing or something.
Dude, shush
Okay,
for
now
a
go.
sec is the best.
Sorry.
Oi, shush for a sec. Just shush
All right.
for a sec.
One.
But-
All right, no.
But it comes out in generations, right? In the mice, they tested it. It can skip a generation, and their DNA was fucked down their lineage.
Well, this
Yeah.
isn't that old. You said, when did you say that they did that?
in the 90s.
Well, this is recent. This is what the TGA did. So this is before.
This is 2020, it says at the top there.
Yeah, and so this is showing
2021, sorry.
when someone is injected within 1 hour, 2 hour, 4 hour, 8 hour, 24, 48. And so they sold this on the fact it does not spread anywhere around the body apart from where it's injected, right?
Yeah.
So this shows you where it goes. And
Yeah.
all the fucking, it's in micrograms
Yeah.
or microliters. Microliters, is that it? So this is all the places that it goes.
It's nanograms, lipid equivalent over grams,
yeah. Okay.
is what it's saying.
So it's very small amounts, but
Yeah.
obviously even the injection is not that.
It doesn't matter. Bust it down to a percentage, and that'll
Yeah,
tell
so
you.
a lot, obviously, most of it goes to your liver because that's where everything goes,
Yeah.
right? And then it spreads around the rest of your fucking body. So they said it doesn't go anywhere but around the injection site. This is showing fucking everywhere: small intestine, spleen, stomach, thyroid, fucking everywhere.
Your blood, whole blood.
Yeah.
And what does it do? We don't even know
We don't
yet
know,
what they've fucking done. So remember how you'd raise this and you were crazy, you're a conspiracy theorist. The TGA was saying that, and now they're like, yeah, they knew the whole time. By the way, if
Well,
you
yeah,
think
so it's
they didn't-
January 2021.
Yeah.
Was
When
that 2020?
It was before they fucking
2021.
they released the vaccine.
See, this
Fucking crazy, eh?
Why is it that no one, most people that call you conspiracy theorists or say you're talking shit, they've never even gone and looked at anything. They just dismiss it and they have zero knowledge of it. They're just like, nah, that's bullshit. And you're like, well, have you looked
Dude,
into it?
This was
Nah.
like the fucking thing that happened with the trolls the other day when we had Guru on. And I was talking about how all of our water is like, sorry, not our water, all of our like piss and shit
Yeah.
is filtered, and then they fucking give us back the water, and basically they put it back into our water supply.
Yeah, that's here in Perth. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, they do it everywhere. We literally have the processing plants. There's one fucking near my school,
And
like
he-
a
and
high
he
school.
he
at.
was like, nah.
And this person literally, because they put it in caps, they're like, they do not filter. And I was like, yes, they fucking do. And my argument is that I was watching this thing about this guy saying, stop drinking tap water because things like estrogen and birth control and other things like this, they don't filter through. Like they're still in the water when they come back through. So if you drink tap water, like they're wondering why all men are pussies these days. It's because of that. Like stay off the tap water,
Fucking
get a
up the
fucking carbon
hormones.
filter your shit.
Yeah.
Get the
And then, but people just they don't even look into things. They just fucking scream it at you and expect you to go, "Oh, you said it loudly, therefore You must be
It's
right.
heaps
Yeah.
of things like stop using fluoride. Go and look up countless studies on it.
Hmm.
It's never done anything for your teeth. It's never been proven that it does. It's a neurotoxin. It
Hmm.
literally damages the development of children's brains. There's thousands of studies on it,
Yeah.
and everyone's like, "Nah, that's a conspiracy." Yeah, dude, and this book I'm reading on vaccines, man, you read how they fucking test vaccines, and it goes to show you everything you need to know about.
Is it
their
about how
whole
they don't
fucking
test them?
They just say that they skew like it goes
Yeah.
through each one, like the measles, mumps, rubella vaccine,
Yeah.
and it goes through when it came out about autism, and then shows you how they skewed the test. In the original test, it came out that people with the vaccine had 40% higher or 45% of autism. And then they fucking skewed the results, and it turned out that people without it had an 8% higher because they change a number of things.
It's so obvious. It's so obvious to people like you and me because you look at anything, right? You look at any vaccines, you look at oxycodone for fuck's sake. There's an invested interest. They pour all this money into research.
Yeah.
They find this thing and they're like, we need to market it. We spent $40 million or let's say a couple $1 billion making this thing. We need to market it and sell it. And oxycodone is one of the great examples because the whole point was they fucking sold an opioid to their own people and they said, oh, it's got a time release on it. It's a slow time release. So you can't ever get addicted because it never peaks up high enough. They fucking coded the pills. That's all they did.
That's
you
what slow
literally-
release is.
You could, yeah, but they literally,
Is it?
just
It's
bite
the
it.
code.
Yeah.
but that's not slow releasing anything.
No, but that's
Not
how
at all,
that-
because once it breaks that fucking seal, it's going to break down the inside of the
I don't
pill
know.
fast. It's going to break down the rest of the coating.
I
And
guess
so
that's
what people
what-
I
did
guess
with them,
the definition
Well, no.
maybe is like it's slower to release. So that it's one of
that's
those
all it is.
things.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's
So-
half-life of drug.
But there is
Half-life of the
there's no half life to it. If you coat something, you're not giving it a half life. You're just delaying the effect of the thing.
Don't know.
So that people, no, literally, I do. They
Well, I'm
literally,
saying
they
that-
were sucking that fucking coating off the pill and then fucking eating it and instant fucking opium straight away. Or opioid, sorry, not necessarily opium, but opioid. So, and it created a fucking massive crisis. Like these people don't give a fuck, man. It's invested interest. We spent
And
the
it-
money.
they don't
We
give a
need
fuck
to
at all.
make it back.
And who do you think pays for the research? Like, if they want to go and do a study to see if it does cause autism or it causes a number of autoimmune things, who's giving out the grants and these things? Money. Laboratories can't go and study things just off their own back. They need funding. It's always
Unless
the
they're attached to
pharmaceutical
it. Yeah,
companies, and it's
that's what I was
always
gonna say.
or the government. And the government, the pharmaceutical companies are always lobbying the government.
Yeah.
It's a cycle. So generally, it doesn't even matter if scientists have the right intentions. Their studies always go towards the narrative because that's
Yeah.
where the money is.
Yeah.
And so years of that happening turns into studies only in one field. And this is another thing.
And then
they
they
do.
just hire the people. So if there's someone in government who's basically trying to push back on this thing, they just fucking offer them a job.
Yeah.
That's literally what happens all the time. They're like, come work for us, we'll pay you 10 times more.
Vouch.
And they do.
I love the Project Veritas interviews with some
Oh.
of the Pfizer stuff and
It's
that. That's
unreal.
like fucking gold. Like they're all.
Why do they keep
Oh.
getting? I love these cunts. They must be the biggest incels of all
I
time.
don't know, and they just keep getting baited by.
Hot chick with tits.
Yeah.
Hot chick with tits. Yeah, here
I'll
at
say
Pfizer,
anything.
we're trying to kill the whole
I
world.
get baited.
Pretty much.
I get baited by hot chicks with big tits, so I can't really fucking.
Lucky you don't work for Pfizer.
Yeah.
But they have
I
dicks
just
as
give
well.
them
They're
all
right.
their secrets. Yeah, we're fucking killing everyone now. Let me touch those tits. No.
Oh, dude, the last one was that guy basically said that we were making new variants to put out vaccines, that we make the vaccine.
Oh, that's an old study, like 2014 mRNA vaccine. Oh no, I think it's called leaky vaccines.
Yeah.
Cause more damaging variants or along those lines, and it's 100% true.
No, but I mean, just move on. Why don't you just move on? I love saying that.
what-
Fucking
what- yeah,
pisses
move
people
on.
off so much.
But what
Move
about
on,
the
get your
fucking-
jab.
Yeah, just move on.
Did you
It's
see-
over. It's done.
One of the heads from CDC was getting fucking grilled recently about the fucking gain of function research,
Yeah.
and he was just like, "Yeah, no, that's straight up gain of function research, like without a fucking shadow of a doubt.
also,
That's what was going on."
AKA bioweapons
Oh,
development.
can we
Yeah.
fucking play that
That's
video of
ex-
Fauci going out to the bloody suburbs somewhere in where's like Chicago or something.
We definitely can.
And then there's a
It's-
fucking black dude just schools the fuck out of him. Fuck, that's good. He's just some
so-
dude. He's probably a
have you
fucking
seen it?
carpenter or something.
Dude,
and he's just
it's
like,
good.
well, actually, them RNA and the butter. And he's just Fauci's like, fuck.
It's not even that. Yeah.
He's like the
he
animals.
starts-
He goes back into the rat and scurries off down the road.
Even this woman comes out with like 2 kids and she looks like a pretty lower class sort of poor kind of person. She's like, I don't trust your shit. Fuck you. Like,
Well, that's the whole neighborhood is thinking the same, and they all say the same thing. They're like, you gave us bullshit information. There's no education on it. You just told us it was the right thing to do, and they're like, you've been fucking us for years.
Yeah.
Isn't
that funny?
We are African Americans in a low socioeconomic place. You think
Yeah.
we've been handed a good life? Why the fuck would we do anything
Yeah,
you say?
that's true.
And that's basically what they say. They're like,
And
why
that-
the fuck would listen to anyone who's
and that
attached to
goes
government?
back to what
Go
we've
fuck
talked
yourselves.
about with the like the university type people and the more intellectual, smarter people fell for the vaccine worse than
Dude,
the
remember
plebs.
We brought that graph up, remember? And it
Yeah.
was basically, by education, year 12 and back, like didn't finish year 12,
Yeah.
were the lowest level. And then it was like, went up to masters, whatever. And it was like right up for taking the jab. And then PhD was in line with the people that didn't finish year 12. So each end of
is
the
that interesting?
scale
Yeah.
Yeah.
took the least vaccines. And then,
Because the PhD, they know what's in the fucking vaccine.
Yeah.
And they're like, nope.
and maybe
If you finish a PhD, they're like, here's all the secrets.
Nah,
Here's
yeah.
everything we're hiding from you. See all these people who weren't indoctrinated through higher, like tertiary education. Nah, that we're never going to touch through to them because they've figured it out already. But these people here, these are the ones we want. All these idiots doing arts degrees and commerce degrees and fucking
Yeah, they'll
nothing
take it.
degrees for fucking $45,000 a year.
Yeah.
Like,
Fucking crazy.
Well, I mean, it just goes to show that like there's different types of intelligence, right? So this poor black guy in the fucking ghetto, he still was intelligent enough to not be swindled by a fucking vaccine.
well, it's
So he doesn't know what's happening.
critical
it's another
Yeah.
day for him.
Yeah.
He's just like, dude, the police fucking arrest me for nothing all the time. I don't trust anyone
Don't
who
trust
gets
the
paid
government,
by the
yeah.
government.
Yeah.
And now you're paid by the government telling me to do this. Fuck off. I'm not
Yeah.
doing it.
I
Pretty
think
much.
a lot of people are just lost their intuition. Intuition is a real thing.
Yeah.
Like I know, I have it. I know you boys do too. But when something goes down, it's like if you're in a crowd and it starts getting a vibe thrown out, some shit's gonna go down. You can fucking
They're
tell.
playing footsies under the
feel it.
table.
Yeah, this is fucking hot.
But this shit's a real thing. But then a lot of people have been taught, you're nothing. You just, you're a meat sack. There's no intuition. That's conspiracy
meat sack.
theory.
Get me a meat sack, eh?
Yeah.
I fucking love me a meat sack.
The police lay it out in that case I was talking about. Like they lay out that he's got a problem in his mind, right? And he's delusional because he's talking about what I'm talking about. And they say that, the United Kingdom of Australia, they've got doctrines and misinformation. The only doctrine we've got is probably the Bible and the Constitution. That's about it. There is some documents that sort of, make it easy to sort of understand because it is quite a bit to get your fucking head around. But they treated him as a mental
Insane.
health patient.
Insane
They
person,
were
yeah.
trying to medicate the problem out of his mind, which is what the police said in the briefing before the
Why
judge.
is their solution always like drugs?
Because it shuts you up.
Can I just
Dude,
read?
they did it to Michael Jackson. They did it to
I know.
Kanye.
Well, that's not just touching as many kids, so maybe that was a good-
let's
good thing.
let's turn their
Or maybe it made him touch more.
let's turn their brain into fucking mush, and we'll
Yeah.
they've got a mental health problem. We'll fucking give them
Yeah,
one.
we'll make it.
We'll
fucking-
make
we'll
that
make it a
fucking
problem.
happen, and then they literally torture them in these facilities and drug them and make them completely lose their mind. And then they're like, "See, they're crazy." And it's like, dude, this is like 2 years on.
Well, that
You
was that-
ruined-
like that Kanye
You ruined
thing,
this
right?
person. This is meant to be rehabilitation.
Mm-hmm.
You're meant to help these people and integrate them back into society.
We literally live in a regime now where you can't afford to get sick because you can't afford to be in the hospital. You can't afford to lose your mind because you can't afford. And then when you speak out, there's a risk of them coming after you. It's like everyone that is speaking.
Well, all of
out-
a sudden, there's the money there to pay for all the things that you now need. So
Yeah.
it's like, oh, he's a problem. We need to shut him up. Oh, he's a mental health case. And it's like, if you actually suffer from mental health problems, you're in the street, you're struggling, you can't have a house anymore, you can't pay for anything because you just fucked. And then if you actually like stand up for something and say the wrong thing, they're like, lock him up, give him all the drugs that are hella
Yeah.
expensive. We'll turn him into an insane person, and then we'll kick him on the street.
And the crazy thing is that he fucking got out of it, and the judge sort of sided with him and said the police, and he refused that 3-year order. The police wanted to monitor him for 3 years. The judge said, no, it's not happening.
Yeah.
He said here, there's no evidence that the defendant intended to cause physical harm to any person or endanger lives by his actions. The calling for the curial overthrow of the government does not amount to a terrorist act or calling for curial punishment. The court should view any statement that a person or class of persons will be punished in a particular way, even by capital punishment when the law is changed, is quintessentially political advocacy, no matter how offensive or uncomfortable those threatened by it might find it.
Do you
Good.
think that maybe
Who is
that,
this dude? Can we fucking get him into a better position of power without corrupting him?
This is from a justice.
No, this is what I mean.
Yeah.
But like, get him making
get him
more
up.
decisions.
Governor
Fucking
General,
oath gun.
and then shut the fucking.
And I don't know if it's like 100% coincidence or not, but very shortly after all of this happened, the UN was knocking on the doors of New South Wales prison. Remember that about a year ago?
Yeah, I do
And
remember.
New South Wales government
And
said,
Queensland, they
said
came
no. They said no, you can't come in. Jesus.
Because that's what they're trying to do
No
with this
shit.
World Health Organization shit. They want in to every country. They want to be able to stroll in. It's basically the WHO is the face of the world government. It's
Yeah.
it's the Trojan horse of the
Yeah.
world government.
It's the bankers, mate. It's the bankers.
Yeah.
Let's face it.
But this is the problem. So I get we could there's that, right? Like what you're doing. There's that avenue of fixing the country. What about the world? And what about, because I think this goes, when you look, it goes so deep. It goes into secret societies. It goes into ritualistic things, child trafficking. There's so many crazy things. How do you beat that? I guess we can get our country right first.
Yeah, you got to clean out your own room first, I think, as the saying goes. But yeah, I think it will. I think they'll follow, man. And USA is sort of in a bit of a different position to most countries because they're a bit of a referee. They're sort of an intermediary between even us and our government. If we say, hold on, we're occupied, and they don't. I've been asking the Attorney General for like 3 or 4 years about his oath and whether it's tied to the original constitution or the new one, right? There's been a group of 40, 50 of us asking these questions, right? And presenting this flag to every member of parliament, right? And ScoMo at the time, right? And within 24 hours, he's issued a blue flag pin to his cabinet and saying, we all know what side we're on, and did a big speech and said, we're not on your side, basically.
Well, because they've made,
but they haven't denied it.
They've made their bed.
Yeah.
Like he's giving speeches at the World Economic Forum. They're in so much nefarious shit that I would say when people find out, they're going to want them hung.
Well,
all these people.
But you can't, right? Because they're doing all this shit to their citizens, right? We're not in any position to even be at the table. We're down there. It's not until we stand up and actually say, hold on, we the people that it talks about in that constitution, that is us. And you guys are occupiers here, and then bam, there's a table there, and America is a referee because they hold the rules of war,
But it's almost like they're almost holding us captive. Like it doesn't matter that we it's like that Stockholm syndrome thing. That's what people have here.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter that they tricked us into it.
Yeah.
That's fucking wrong. Like none of us, you can't be coerced into something. That's not like, that's what the Nuremberg Code says too.
Correct. Yep.
Coercion is not consent.
Thought we get kicked eventually.
We never consented to any of this. So therefore, it's not, we're not a part of it. As much as they like to say.
You are, unless you can define different. Unless you can define yourself differently to being a citizen and the Australian government is your government, then that's assumed. And that's all right.
What happens? So have you like decoupled yourself?
I've been in contact with my local area commander, which is the police.
Does this allow you like to not pay tax? Because I looked on the tax. The tax department is just, it's got an ABN and it's actually a holdings company for BlackRock.
Yep.
It's not an actual, it's a private company that's stealing our money.
We're working on it. At this moment, I'm still paying taxes because I believe it's the right thing to do at the moment, right?
What do you do? They just come after you. Like, how do you beat it when no one believes it? That's the scary thing.
You have local guys that would stand up for you. You know,
that's what
You
they've-
want smaller government.
That's what they've
basically.
tried to do. They've tried to divide us. That's what all this shit was about because they know once they come out in the open, which they did with COVID, with their whole plan, if they don't have us all divided, we'll all get together and start talking. That's what all the 6 foot shit was about, the plastic, not talking to your friends at the shops because they don't want us discussing it.
But
and
they
then
installed that massive fence around Parliament House in 2017. Right, massive fence because they know that the people are not that happy.
Oh,
You know?
what in
Alright.
Canberra?
Oi,
Yeah,
oi,
Canberra here,
oi.
yeah.
Shush for a sec. Why did we get pulled? Let's all guess.
Oh, you'll never get this.
Yeah, 'cause I saw your reaction. I was just like, this is going to be a good one. So Drew goes live on Instagram,
TikTok first.
and it always, eventually we say something, video's gone.
Gone.
So normally it's like abuse. I'm going to go terrorism this time. I'm going to step it right up.
Was it?
Yeah, terrorism. No, you got to guess first.
gotta guess.
Guess why it went down.
It's way out of left field of what you think it would be. I have no idea why. Yeah.
Were we being too sexual?
No.
That's normally one because of the cock on the table.
Oh,
We've been
right.
pulled for that a few times.
No, it wasn't the cock that was doing it. It was or
Now
maybe
the
it was.
sword throws the AI off. The sword through the jab side.
No, they see the sword near a cock and they're like, good. Good.
Yeah,
Very
cut it
good.
off.
Cut him off.
Well, it is an
Get rid of
LGBTQ
it.
cock. So it's what you're supposed to do to it.
Come to
well
Ghana.
AI is still colorblind, bro.
It's,
it's
we
still
got
figuring it out.
done this time for adult nudity, apparently.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe those tits.
Which one of you's got nude? Which one of you's
Must have
without
been real
me?
quick.
Yeah, quick nudity.
Like,
Do
"Oi,
you know
I
what's
didn't
hell
see that."
funny? There was a pod where I literally flashed my asshole like directly to the camera, like I spread my brown eye.
No problem.
Just I had a few drinks and I thought it was funny, and
Yeah.
a few people were disgusted, and that was never pulled. Fine, totally fine.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Oh, and then I just appeal it, and then it says appeal approved or whatever, and then we get reinstated. But it takes like a week for that to happen
So dumb, bro.
because there's
'Cause
150
they-
million billion
They
people on
want you
TikTok.
coming back.
Yeah.
So it's all about they
What do you
stop
think of,
because they cut off your speech. So they cut everyone from listening.
Yeah.
So they've wrecked it.
Yeah.
But they
by the
don't
way,
want you coming back.
follow me on TikTok, Lawtards. Follow me.
Law
Lord,
Yeah.
how do you spell it?
Spell it for the retards.
LAWTARDS.
Okay, lawtards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lawtards. Yeah, I do a bit of like, filming the police.
Do you have like an Instagram?
Oh, yeah.
I've watched a few-
YouTube and
YouTube?
TikTok? Yeah.
I've watched
okay,
I
cool.
think I watched one. You go into a police station in like Midland or something.
Yeah, I've been to Midland, Morley. Yeah, been to a few. It's fucking.
What do you do?
Just film. Just film.
They hate it. Eh?
But did you start just asking difficult
Not
questions?
even. No. Just stand at the front and film the flag. Oh, actually, in Morley, I went in and said, look, the flag at the front's really tattered. It's really bad. You could probably get that replaced within the next couple of weeks. And she's like, are you filming? I was like, yeah.
Nice.
They're like, oh, well, I gotta go get the officer in charge, or whatever. I was like, okay. Do you want me to go or do you want me to stay? She's like, no,
Yeah.
stay here. I was like, okay. And then stayed filming, But,
What happened when the
hilarious.
OIC came down? Were they like, you can't film here? Which
they
you-
tried to. Oh,
and
yeah,
you're like-
you'll have to watch the video, mate.
Oh,
All right.
all right.
They wanted to get my
That's it.
name and that, but
Yeah, you can't find
Funny.
out anything. Watch the video.
watch the fucking video.
They always want to
Lawtards.
intimidate you, don't they?
Oh, mate, they try. Yeah, I've been arrested at Joondalup and charged actually.
With what?
Failure to
Comply.
failure to give
Comply
my
with
ID. Yeah,
Oh.
Oh.
because they suspected I had filmed a private activity from a public place, which I don't get, and I tried.
How?
I don't know, man. The magistrate was fucked. The police prosecutor was fucked.
Yeah, man.
So
My ass whooped.
what is your plan like? Because I think this stuff's awesome. Like I love that idea.
Yeah. So we're trying to find members, basically for each state. We're just trying to find members at the moment.
What's the way of overcoming? Because like I know you were talking about that before, but the time we have, like they are speeding up so quick because they must know. They know that now their plan's on the table because it had to come to the light. They've been doing it in the shadows for so long. It had to come into the light when they go operational and try and go for broke.
Yeah.
So they're on a race for time. It's like the Great Awakening versus the Great Reset. People that
Yep.
So what's like? Do you have any hope in reality that we can beat it or we're just fucked. Because
we can definitely beat it. It's
like the timing and
100%. It doesn't take long. It takes. I think it was really interesting. In Poland, right, when they went through the occupation, they had a military guy. I believe it was a musician and an actor or a news reader, and it was 3 people that sort of came together, got on the same page, and then got the same message out. And I think it can be done quickly. Basically, there's not much to it. Render back to Caesar what is Caesar's. Everything that's our government's, fucking take it back.
Yeah.
All right. But you have to have something to step back to, and that's what we're trying to provide by having at least 8 to 10 people in each district, and then from that 8 to 10, there's probably one of those that goes to a state meeting, and then from that state meeting, there's probably 3 or 4 that attend a federal council meeting. Basically,
or like if in there,
what our constitution lays out is what we're trying to set up.
I reckon it would be good if it was, or it will work similar, even though we're different countries, similar to like what we were always saying during the pandemic, like Florida, Texas kind of thing. They kind of went, no, we're not shutting down. We're a state with our own laws and ways of doing things. Yeah. And we're going to go against what California does and all that shit, right? But in Australia, every fucking state did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So if you could, like what Guru was trying to do in a different way, if you got into one state and set it up so you said, in this state you can open carry or whatever the fuck the rules are going to be, all these people will be like, I'd move. If fucking Queensland said, oh yeah, it's open carry, I'd fucking move tomorrow.
Yeah.
So like that's how it starts. And then once that happens, and then all the people go there, and everyone does what they did in America, like just exodus of California because they're like taxes way too high.
So what does that pin on though? There is something that's got to happen. He's got to get into power first of all, right, and then. Like,
that's not what their plan was.
I literally think there is a threat of if you go against that oath, that you take to uphold the parliament and the system that's in play. I think he'll be silenced very quickly if he goes against that oath. And it will be within their rules. It'll be within their law. They're allowed to take him out.
I think their idea was to expose the heinous things they've been doing. Because everyone knows that when people find out what they've been doing, they're going to want every one of them to fucking hang. Because it's fucked.
Yep.
Anyone that looks close. So I think that they said, we're not making policy. We're not doing anything. We'll have access to everything and we'll expose what they've been doing. And everyone's going to want them out and we'll expose one after the other.
Do you think the pinpoint would be that they go in, they expose that, but they don't necessarily keep their power? They expose it, and then everyone sees it.
But then what? Then there's a massive power struggle.
Then someone steps up to the plate. So
Yeah.
maybe there's a referendum. We all vote to be like, we
that's
need
what it was.
to
They
change
said
it.
that the what Governor General can then remove Parliament. Then they have the legislative
It's a good idea.
council and then set up a new government, have a referendum after an education process on our original constitution and what's happened. I have in mid 2024. That was it. But they said getting in is not their plan. That's just a very small, like if that'd speed it up. But they
got absolutely fucking reamed by the sound of it. So and I'm not saying it's because they're not popular, it's because of the system, right?
Well,
it could be.
They said they're never going to get it. They knew it. They knew this was going to happen.
Those Dominion voting machines, man.
And pencils.
Yeah. They've got them here now.
I do that?
Yeah, they're bringing it in.
Yeah. Oh, we're fucked.
Yeah, we're pretty much fucked. so what do you even, like, why would you even really care about it? Like, I just think, like,
It's because we're desperate.
My view is
but you do your own thing. Like what you're saying makes more sense to me in some ways. Like, you're saying go back to something else that was better.
Yeah.
I would say start something new that is a movement that gets people's attention, because we are on the same level and a lot of the people that listen are on the same level, but they're, like you said, fucking 90% of people are NPCs. They'll vote Liberal, Labor, and maybe the Greens.
Well, I don't reckon they'd even want it. If you gave a lot of people, you know that
wouldn't.
story in the Bible about, like, I think when the
You
Jews,
lost me.
the Jews left Israel and they were slaves. They were freed.
Yes.
And then they left, and then they
They wanted to be slaves again, yeah.
And then they actually chose to go back to Egypt and be slaves and be tortured and brutalized
Yeah.
over being free because it was hard.
Yeah.
That is exactly what Australia is.
Yeah.
They would choose to be slaves and to just because they don't want to face up to the reality. Like people will choose to get injected with shit, get locked in their houses, get beaten up by cops. They'll just be like, I'll just forget, just get over it, let's move on.
I don't think people see that there's another option though.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think people see what's on the other side of
They
that
don't.
door.
Yeah.
You know, like
But you can't.
I
How
think-
do you
and-
make
and-
someone with
well, by showing and demonstrating.
But
they're not
maybe
stopped.
they see it, but a lot of people are lazy as well. So that by seeing
Myself
it,
included.
But yeah, 100%, dude, 100%. Like, we're all victim to it, man. It's like they might see the other side, but they're like, oh, I got to like sacrifice this and do this to get there. Ah, fuck that. It's easy not to do that, which is exactly what you're
And
arguing.
they're
right?
psychologically
Yeah.
abused, right? Like our government and beyond the government, they wage a global psychological war on the world, on every person. And it is so crafty. It's so well done. And
Yeah.
it's broken a lot of people. That Stockholm syndrome thing, how hard is that to break? You know, when people have been captive for years.
I know how
and
to do
some of them can never be, you know, a lot of them can never be fixed.
Yeah.
Some of them can.
I know how you get people on your side to do any kind of movement you want to do. You get famous people that are on TV all the time.
Yeah.
You recruit them. That's what you do.
Dude, that's exactly what
Well, that's what
Bozy says.
Well, that's what
They're
FXT
It's
was, man.
because they're retards. They'll listen to the fucking
He
the
always
cunt
says
that's
that
on
the
fucking.
crime's got to come from the news reporters that they love because they'll never
Well, it
listen
doesn't even have to be news
alternate-
reporters. It has to be
Or-
Cardi B and fucking
Literally, bro.
people like that.
Have you heard about the FXT scam?
No.
FTX.
FTX, sorry,
Yeah.
my bad. I only heard about this recently. Joe Rogan had a guy called CoffeeZilla on his podcast, who's a dude who exposes scams. And FTX was this.
Yeah, it was a big group of poly people, living in a penthouse.
I don't know if it was poly.
Were
I
they
don't know.
poly?
I don't know about that
Yeah, they
side
were,
of
they
things. But
were. Fucking oath.
this guy basically, he swindled everyone. He was like, I'm going to set up a bank essentially for digital currency,
Yeah.
and we're not gonna touch your
Not
money.
gonna
We're not gonna
touch
do
it.
anything with
Yeah.
it. We're just gonna. It's somewhere you can store it, and then you can take it when you want and invest it in other places. This guy used it for research and development, but he stole it all. He stole it all and put it into a different company.
Yeah, put it into his girlfriend's company, Alameda Research.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like, dude, we're talking like ridiculous
Yeah,
amounts
it's
of
crazy.
money,
It was
crazy.
like hundreds of millions of dollars.
It's like one of the
but
biggest white collar crimes in history.
Yeah, and he got like all these fucking big name celebrities to back
Yeah.
FTX.
Yeah.
That was his whole thing, and so people were like,
Oh,
"Oh,
yeah.
fucking
Marketing.
yeah, like what's his fucking name? Any celebrity? I
Yeah,
don't
there
know
was quite a few
celebrities
that
like
went out there and supported it and
Yeah.
advertised it.
because they were probably paid to do
you
so.
do
but-
Yeah.
that though when we're talking about things that'll break everything everyone knows about their own reality?
They won't even know that it does. They'll still be in the matrix.
Oh.
It's just that we'll be happy because we'll get what we want.
No, but I mean that the people they thought loved them were actually doing the opposite. Like they
They
think the
will never-
government loves them. They actually think
they do. That's
that
that's
our
what I'm saying.
government loves and cares about them and wants
And they
them
still
to be
will.
happy.
They still will, especially if it's the fucking famous singer that's telling them how good this new thing is, that this new party that's
Yeah.
going.
I got a
Yeah.
wet ass pussy and this party's
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah, that's
Check it out.
That's all you need.
Mm.
It's literally, and obviously you can't start. You might have to spend a bit of bucks to begin with, but you find people because there always is famous musicians, actors that are actually righties or libertarian. You just got to find them.
I reckon John Butler is. Like
Sure.
I've listened to a few of his lyrics and it's
Yeah.
like fucking
And then
Dude,
you just
get
go,
Cog on board. You ever listen to Cog?
no.
oh yeah,
Dude, Cog are a prog band that are so fucking good.
All right.
In my opinion, they're a great band. I hope you like 9-minute songs.
Yeah.
They are
I
long.
like Cog.
But dude,
I mean, I
Cog-
like my 1 minute 50, 2 minute songs too.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
all of Cog's music is basically just like the government sucks heaps of assholes.
Yeah, nice.
And it's just song after song is just about that.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome, man. They got even just Google their lyrics, you'll probably fucking froth that shit.
Yeah.
because
Alright,
they
we'll
don't
do.
really do that in Australia. Like you don't really know of any famous person's political leaning
No.
when elections come up. You don't.
no.
Like I know of a couple because of more underground stuff where they're saying the vaccine sucks and all that. You know their political leaning.
But do you remember growing up in this country where if you ask someone their political stance, that you're like going too far.
Yeah.
You could be like, are you a Catholic, Christian, Muslim? What are you? And they're like, I'm this. And then you'd be like, I'm going to kill you now. And that was fine. And then you'd be like, who do you vote for? And they're like, that's a very personal question. I don't think you should be asking me that. That's
Yeah.
what I fucking grew up with. I
Now
remember
people
that.
ask you
And
if
now
you've had an injection, like what you're fucking
Oh,
mad.
yeah.
what
Not
are
even
you
that.
up to?
The
Not
fucking
even that,
cafe
dude.
owners asking
what
you that.
flag are you flying off your fucking aerial off your car that determines what fucking restaurant you can sit at or fucking go? Like, almost. Like, literally, man. It's
Yeah.
fucking ridiculous.
Remember
you got to
that when,
wear it
like,
as a
you'd go
fucking
into a-
badge of honor.
Cafe and they
Yeah.
ask you what your vaccine status was. It was
Oh,
like,
fuck.
suck my dick.
That can never be forgiven. I'm sorry, but all of that can't be forgiven. in
No,
my-
it can't.
The-
Like this woman that I used to, because I work in a lot of cafes because I work for myself, right? So I just go sit in a cafe.
Yeah,
so
free
then,
internet, baby.
well, then this shit happened, and I'd go there. I just gave up after a while, but I'd go there, and I could see on their face that they didn't want to ask me. Like I
Yeah.
could see they were like, oh, you're like,
I had to ask my mum to buy me alcohol again. I mean,
that's hilarious.
fucking bottle of those.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, they
that was a
tried.
step too far, man.
That's shit.
They try
Well, no, they
fucking
pulled that in the end, didn't they?
Yeah.
Because
No, they- Did they?
alcoholics were going to die.
Oh, yeah,
that's
right.
why. Because if you're a proper alcoholic
Alcoholic.
and you stop drinking, you will die. You will die.
Doesn't
There's no,
that
you
go
will
to
die.
show you how ruthless these cunts are?
Yeah.
Like they're like, oh, that didn't work. What else can we take away? Booze. That they're just thinking
Yeah.
of things
Yeah.
like, man, McGowan is such.
Oh, the gym.
I know he's
Remember
a
the
puppet,
gyms?
but fuck, how
Yeah.
can that cunt
Fuck.
stand up there and be still doing this shit? And just how does he live with himself?
I don't know how he sleeps at night, mate.
Do you know how he sleeps at night?
Pretty soundly.
$6 million under his fucking pillow. That's how he does
Yeah, I
it.
think
He's
he
just
does.
like, thank you for the donation.
Yeah.
What else
But-
can I do?
I mean, that's another factor, right? With politicians now, they don't really have a fucking soul. Like none of them. Like Daniel Andrews definitely doesn't have a fucking
No, he
soul.
doesn't.
That kind of
He traded his soul for massive ears that he can take flight with. That's what he did.
He's Dumbo.
He was just like, can I fly and not have a soul? And they're like,
They actually
done.
merged
Yeah,
his
done.
genetics with Dumbo, with mRNA. They injected him. They're
Dumbo
like, "You're an
Andrews,
elephant,
eh?
man."
I can see it
They're
like
like McGowan, you're going to be $8 million richer, but you're going to have a lisp. Sorry, can you deal with that? And they're like, yeah, that's all right. Give me a lisp.
I can see we're all totally on the same fucking page, right? I guess my main point of difference is we can't call them criminals from where we are right now. You know, they're not
Sure.
actually breaking any laws. They're doing it
Yeah.
by the book. However fucked up that book is, it is by the book.
What about international law?
They're
Like that-
doing it by the book.
But they broke the Nuremberg Code. Like you can't.
No, they
You
didn't.
can't coerce people into taking any medical experiment.
You can when they're your citizens.
You can't.
We're serfs.
I know, but
We're not-
we
we're not-
agreed it's crimes against humanity. We're humans, right? Doesn't matter what they want to call us.
Look,
I think that may happen.
even that term, humans and humanitarian and human rights, I've even got an issue with. Like, it's not. It doesn't.
It has to happen in another country first.
It's not
if it
biblical.
does, then it'll happen here eventually.
Do you think that all this stuff like matters in a sense that because it only matters what everyone believes is true, unfortunately, which sucks, which makes it such a mountain to climb. And what does it matter? Like with all the semantics of words and all this, it's like they fucked us over so bad. What they've done is evil,
Yeah.
and they need to pay. Like just on a you do that to another person, you should be killed.
I totally agree. I totally agree that they need to pay, right? But I don't see a path in our current system, in our current walk.
No, I don't.
There
I
is
don't.
there is no holding them to account.
I don't.
You know,
either.
if we all stood up and said, "Hold on, you're occupiers here. You're an administration under rules of usufruct. You actually don't have the power to or authority to rule over all of us. You're actually our servants, not our masters. Remember?
Yeah.
And then we've got, and then there's a path, you know, and you've got the international law on the table to actually back you up. It's not on their side. It is at the moment.
That's all that needs to happen. It's so simple. I tell people this too. It's like basically stop going along with it.
Yeah.
Stop going along with them and exit their system. It's you could do it. We could all do it now.
Well,
The
it's-
whole country just stood up and we're like, no.
but you can see
we're
that in
done.
people that are, I wouldn't say like rebellious, but you know, it's even come like as something as simple as waiting at that little stop sign where the red man is, or just crossing the road whenever
Yeah,
you
you
feel
just
like
do what
crossing.
you want.
Some people will cross and do what they want. Other people will always line up at that little thing and wait for the green man before
And
they
then there's
walk.
the ones that when they say you do it, they follow. And then
Yeah,
there's the ones that
that's
just
true.
stay there.
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
But-
a lot of them do follow.
Remember the
Yeah.
protest? They kind of started out reasonably big. Then it got fucking big, like 60,000 people. And then it just, I remember going to one like fucking a couple of months later and it was like less than 5,000. I'm like,
Yeah.
this has died in the fucking ass, hasn't it? Like, and that's what's happening with this shit. And hopefully someone does get held accountable. But like I always thought, it's just going to peter out and they're going to fucking
Like it always- that's all
disappear
we've
into the
ever seen.
distance. Like
Well, we
fucking-
were here long before COVID, and we're going to be here fucking afterwards. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't plan on slowing down or petering out. I mean, people may change, the group may change slightly, but it's not going to fall apart. You know,
I didn't
It's-
realize you've been doing it so long. That's cool.
Yeah, man. Like 8 years at
It's
least.
definitely fucking a rough road, obviously. Even if people like Bozy and that are just getting absolutely reamed.
Yeah.
Like, I like definitely give it to people that are trying, but it's like, fuck.
Well, that's why I
They
think,
must
that's why I
be-
think someone like yourself will actually come out of that because people like Bozy, there's a crisis, they step up and it peters out as they do because they just go, just wait it out. Fuck this guy. It's not going to go the way he wants. It'll peter out, and then it does, and you will watch that peter out. But people like yourself who just did it because they found out about it and went, this is wrong. You slowly build, and that snowballs a lot better
Yeah.
than the ones who fucking quickly.
No, he's been
organic.
doing it
rise.
for ages. He's ran 5 times. It's been
Oh,
a
okay.
learning curve for him too.
Okay,
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of that.
It's just the only reason I like him, and I like all the like what you're saying.
I don't not
too,
like the guy. I like the guy.
Is because I just see him as the only avenue beside because I feel like I love what you're saying, and I feel what he's doing is the only avenue to get to where you guys want to be.
Yeah.
Because I feel it's so
How-
dire. Like the time for talking's over because no one's on our side.
Yeah.
We're still getting like the information's out there. Like everyone knows the jabs were bad. People are still saying it's not. People are still lining up for him and arguing with you. And you're like, how do you get through to these people? There's so
famous
much
people.
information there.
Famous people.
Yeah, but
That's what it is. They're retards.
they're never going to get to do it because they're literally on the payroll of the fucking
Yeah.
Freemasons.
You
and
can
the-
find some. Maybe they're not going to be like top fucking tier guys, but think
They
about,
are,
Oh, hold
though.
on a sec though. Think about people like what's his fucking Thor? What's Thor's name? Forgot his name.
Chris Hemsworth.
Hemsworth, who's got a fucking who's got what's the brain
Retardation.
yeah, retardation.
Yeah.
Nah, he's
he's got Alzheimer's.
Alzheimer's. So,
Does he?
Right, okay.
After the
so
getting the
if
jab.
you went up to him and said, "Hey, we're trying to fight against all this vaccine bullshit," he'd be like, "You think I might fucking be on board with that?"
He's
you know,
got
like,
Alzheimer's now.
yeah.
So it was like
He's so young.
How old is he?
Yeah.
Alzheimer's went up like fucking 80-something% when they rolled out the vaccine.
Fuck.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. So you know, in this instance, there's a lot of people that are famous as well
Fuck, I
that
dodged the
died.
bullet,
Fucking
eh?
Warney and people like that died.
Well, it's,
you know?
he's predisposed. So I think with the vaccine, with this mRNA shit, it's basically anything you've got that you're predisposed to. It's
Yeah.
like coming like cancer.
It's like
shit.
dormant
It's-
shit
Well,
in
that's
your
why
body.
my,
right?
that's why my
Like
chest
cra-
was really
Yeah.
bad. Because you remember that time we went out
Yeah.
drinking and we were walking through the city, and I literally said to you, I was like, "Can we just like slow down and like not talk as much because I'm like fucking out of breath." And yeah, I'm a fat cunt. There's no if, buts, or maybes about that. I have
That's never slowed you down though.
never. I've always fucking pushed through it. You know, no problems. And I know I'm getting a bit older, but I'm not fucking
Nah.
old.
No.
I'm 31.
The age
And
is
then I had to literally say to you, and it was fucking embarrassing to say. I was like, dude, like, can we just fucking hold up a bit and just chill? Because like my heart is like pounding out of my chest right now. And then I went
Yeah.
and pounded 10 beers. And it was fun. But like
Another jab.
Yeah. but legit, like that was pretty hectic. But
Yeah.
that's sort of it has teetered off a little bit, which is good. But
So I know someone that went and got their bloods done, right? And you know how there's a lot of pointing towards the vaccine-induced AIDS, right? Which is just your
Hot.
white blood cells being completely decimated.
being gay.
They went and got their blood tests, and they were talking about being tired and all that kind of thing, and that was the exact thing. Like basically barely any white blood cell, like just decimated, low iron, low everything. But that's what it's doing something, and it seems to fuck your gut biome up.
What produces white blood cells? Do you know?
Oh,
I don't know.
Do you reckon the vaccine made whatever produces white blood cells gay? and so it wasn't able to reproduce. And that's what I think.
Have you seen it in a petri dish when they've mixed it with red blood or with blood? It just instantly goes brown, just kills it, like it can't
Fucking
oxygenate.
sick. That's what you want.
Hectic.
Yeah.
And then it just goes around your whole body in an instant to your liver and fucking everywhere.
It's fucking what they've done. It's crazy technology. It's well beyond what we can comprehend. And they've just gone, everyone line up, get this shit, and everyone's done it. And now we're faced
think
with
about all the medical breakthroughs they made in Nazi Germany in World War II. Sacrifices were made,
Oh,
but
mate,
fucking we strived ahead.
Is there anyone going to?
The World Health Organization was loving that at the time. You know,
Yeah.
it took a while for them to fucking step in, didn't it?
And how good's meth,
Yeah.
by the way? Fucking so good. Thank you, Germany.
Yeah,
Oh my
fucking hell.
god,
You know, few people die myocarditis, but then meth happens. Fucking-
mate. All I'm saying
what you
is I
want.
was skinny for a while there, and meth was the reason. Fucking brilliant. Love that shit. If only you could like not become a piece of shit. I
Yeah.
thought I wasn't for a long time, and then I was like,
well, that's what meth does. Makes
damn
you
it,
think
I'm
you're
a
not.
piece of shit. God damn it. And
Well,
then I was
speaking
like,
of which-
better stop.
Kill yourself. Sorry, terms and there goes that one. Kill yourself list. Who we got? You're allowed to choose if you like. Kill yourself list, if you're not aware, is just someone that we each week that we think needs to kill themselves. So you can choose
Christian Porter.
Christian Porter. He's,
Yeah, ex-Attorney General. Lives here in WA.
Does he?
Yeah, fucking
Where does he live? What's his
Fucking
address?
Phone number.
It's out 2J Way.
Oh, God.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What a
Well,
trek. No wonder no one's killed him yet. Too far.
Anyone
far.
else this fucking week for kill yourself? I
a lot of people.
I can't
You just
think of
never
anyone.
remember.
He stayed silent for years, Christian Porter. Silent to all of us. Like, just
Right.
simple questions. Like, 1 or 2 questions in an email. Nah, nothing. Never.
Yeah, okay.
Never, not once.
Mm.
Because if
Not
he admits it, he admits that they're an occupier. So he's sort of damned if he did, damned if he didn't, sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
No one has any balls, though. Like it's in this.
Nah,
They,
definitely.
they don't stand for anything.
No.
They got no morals.
Yeah.
That's the problem. We're at that weak men stage where there's no men that'll go, I'm going to stand up. I don't care if I get fucked over. Fuck it. Yeah. And everyone that's doing it, we're not in high places. Anyone in that
You know what I
structure
think
is
it
like,
is?
oh, I'll just
It's because-
betray everyone because I want to keep my...
It's because they're a lifetime politician. They're fucking useless at
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Well, let's
except talking shit.
Let's look at
Yeah.
a
So they're
life-
worried that, I'm going to have to work at McDonald's or some shit.
If you want to compare lifetime politicians, look at who is currently the president of the United States. That's
Yeah.
a lifetime politician, and that cunt is fucked.
Shits himself daily.
You
Dude,
seen that video?
Legit, bro.
Did you see that video? I sent it to you where he's like, and Australian, he's like, oh, what's that? He treads and he's like, oh, it's black. Anyway, he's like, treads on something.
Really?
Have you seen it?
Nah.
Oh, it's black.
Did you
And
see
he's
the
like,
one where
"Oh,
he went to
anyway."
that shooting and he starts talking about ice cream? What the fuck
Oh,
is he
yeah.
talking about?
Dude,
It's like, you're not supposed to be talking about ice cream.
I
cunt.
love the original one. If you don't vote for me, then you ain't black.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What?
dude, just so many things. There's so many things that
How do
cunt
they
has
even like?
done or
I
said.
feel sorry for the poor cunt at CNN that has to crop out the bits that aren't retarded. He's like, oh Jesus! All right, fucking hell, here we go.
Really simplifying the
And then
question.
he has
It's
to,
not,
like,
it's not even hard
splice all this
anymore. He
shit
just
together.
uses ChatGPT. And it's just
Biden
like,
does.
no,
He
no,
is
no, no, the
ChatGPT.
editor. The editor's
Oh,
just
yeah.
like, give me a coherent Biden video. And ChatGPT's like, not a problem, I'm on it.
He was ChatGPT, but the first gen version that failed, the malfunction. They just put him into Biden's fucking skin
We
suit.
got anyone for
literally, bro.
extinction? Extinction
Is
is like a
Biden on the
group,
kill yourself list?
like World Economic Forum.
Is-
I don't think so.
I'm
Actually,
putting him on.
because
Because I
not.
want him to kill himself before he dies of natural causes. Because that's so. Because he's
Wait, you want him
seconds
to kill
from
himself?
death.
Just put him on a bike.
I hope he shoots
Or
himself.
Find a
and-
flight of stairs going up.
I hope he shoots himself and God is real and he goes to heaven and God's like, sorry, champ, you were going to die in like 4 seconds, but you shot yourself in the head.
Yeah.
So
Back
off
down.
to hell. See ya.
Who's on there at the moment?
E-scooters, vapes. What the fuck is that? The monarchy, the Australian government, Triple J, and the World Economic Forum. There's probably more. I haven't updated it for a while. Normally we'll have a list there. Anything else for extinction?
So the
think
last time we did one was McDonald's coffee and trolls.
15-minute cities can go on there.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Pedo politicians were on there.
What about central banks for the interest rates?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
they need to
Fuck
go
him.
on
Yeah,
there.
that's
Yeah.
true.
Fuck them.
They need to die. They are going to die very soon by the looks of it.
What about
I
fucking?
wouldn't wait for it.
What about like cross dressers? They need to go.
I hope anyway.
Drag queens.
Drag queens, yeah.
Done.
Put drag queens on the extinction list. Okay.
Oh yeah, groomers in brackets.
Yeah,
Legends list. Anyone?
Hang
Any
on.
legends?
That judge. What was his name?
Oh, Justice Lonergan. That's
Hang on, give me 1 sec. We just got a text message from James Go. He's saying the Extinction Rebellion group for extinction list.
Oh, fuck.
Nah, leave them off the legends list.
No, sorry, for the extinction list.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I hate those.
Okay, so we got the legend. You said legend.
Legend,
I'll
I
pick
don't
it
know.
up.
I don't know if that justice is. Yeah, probably.
No, well, if you do something legendary, it
Okay.
only has to be one
What's
thing.
his name?
All right, I'll
Yeah.
show you.
Lonergan. How the fuck do you spell Lonergan?
Lonergan.
That's the first fucking judge I've ever heard stand up for something
Yeah.
like
I'm
that.
just going to put long again.
Lonergan.
Lonergan.
I'll just put long again.
Okay. J.
Terms that need to come back. I had one at the start somewhere. I've forgotten what I said.
So last time we had balloon knot and snowflake.
Kill yourself.
And then
Put kill yourself on the terms.
we didn't have
Oh yeah. That's a fucking good one, man. That's a
on
really
the
good
terms need
one.
to come back.
What the fuck is that?
Fucking idiot. Wasn't it?
Yeah, fucking idiot.
Fucking idiot.
Fucking idiots on there.
Shush for a moment. No,
Yes,
sorry.
shush.
Shush.
Shush for a
Shush.
moment.
We need to bring shush.
Shush.
Just
Terms that
shush,
need
yeah,
to go.
shush.
Anything that needs
Shush
to
is
go.
hell good. It is hell good. It's like
Makes
it's
me feel
old
like a 12-year-old again,
Yeah, it's
you know?
old timey.
Yeah.
Oi, shush. Sorry. You apologise. If someone tells you to shut the fuck up, you just pull the middle finger and pull out your dick.
Yeah, that's
Someone
true.
tells you to shush, you're like,
But
I
hey,
better be
hey,
quiet.
shush for a sec.
I better be quiet.
Sounds important. Terms that need to go. I can't think of any. I haven't fucking got anything that comes to mind.
I swear you said one before.
I said one that needs to come back.
And I thought you
But
said
not-
one that needs to go.
Terms that need to go.
Oh, we can't think of any. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
None
Hang on,
this week.
Here we go. James
Oh.
Go has come in. Terms that need to go. Check your privilege. There we go.
Terms that need to go. Misgendering.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Just privilege.
Misgendering.
Privilege. Oh, wow. I'm spelling like dog shit tonight.
I'll put tranny on terms that need to come back.
Yes.
Great word.
What about transvestite?
Oh yeah, they don't like that one anymore, do they?
No, they don't.
No, they don't.
They get
So
held
let's bring it
by-
back.
Well, transvestite's just a drag queen.
Yeah, but they hate that. Apparently, they don't like being called transvestite.
Well,
I'm gonna
then I'm
fucking
only
use it.
saying that from now on.
Fuck yeah. Also, ExpressVPN, 3 months free if you use the link. And you can look up transvestites and
I spell privilege so wrong. Just quiet.
anything else you want to do. You can look up ways to overthrow the Australian government.
Yeah.
Yep. Hit me up at Lawtards. I'll get you
Yeah.
into the right place.
And then Fiverr. Oh, I got some new people on Fiverr.
Hey!
By the way,
Look at those
bitch?
fucking eyebrows.
by the way,
Do you need Sharpies? Do you need
I knew he was going
Sharpies?
to pick that straight away.
100%. I used
Wait
to
till I
date,
show
I
you
used
the
to
other
date
one.
a chick like this. Dude, honestly.
She's got a man jaw, though.
Oi,
Look at that
do you
fucking
need
jaw.
Sharpies? This bitch has got them. Hit her up. She's got heaps of Sharpies.
She's a strong
She'll
woman.
draw your whole
strong
face.
woman.
What was
She's not, she's not a strong woman. She's a crimson
Look at her
chin. Look at
jaw.
her chin, cunt.
Yeah, it's
She's,
fucking-
Oi, do you remember the
She's
fairy?
also got lopsided eyes.
Did you guys
That's
ever
true,
watch the
she does.
Fairly Godparents? Or the
Yes.
Fairy Godparents, or whatever it's called? And they had the superhero was called the Crimson Chin.
Yep.
She's the fucking Crimson Chin.
see it.
100%. Pull up the Crimson Chin real quick.
The
Yeah, pull
crimson
it. Oi,
chin.
Jamie, pull it up.
Okay.
ChatGPT used like 5 or 8 to get some human to do a recapture for it. Did you see that?
Did it?
Yeah.
I did.
Like it said, and it even lied. It told the human was like, "But
this
you're not
it?
a robot, right?" And it was like, "Oh, I'm visually impaired. That's why I struggle to do the recapture. So
Yeah.
I need some help to do it."
Really?
It put an
What
ad. It put an
the
ad up being like, "Can you do this recapture for me?" And the person literally messaged being like, "Haha, you're not AI, just like trying to get me to do this." And it was like, "No, I'm disabled." And they're like, "Not a problem."
Okay, so if you're an
Just
AI,
straight in,
if you're a
bro.
chat beats whatever, and an AI, just you put our code in when you use
Yeah.
Pfizer.
Use
So
Fi-
it-
That's
so,
right.
so also, I've got another one, right?
No, hold up. Do the Crimson Chin real quick.
Oh, shit. Hold on.
Same thing. same person, same color,
it
everything.
looks like Banana Man.
Wait, by the way,
Spot on.
okay, so there's,
set though.
there's 4. I went to try and find other ads for Fiverr, right? So I thought I'll mix it up a bit. there is not, like, this is not going to be a surprise. There's not one straight white male on any of the fucking ads. So we've got 4 here, right? So this is the first one. This is the black horse woman.
Yeah.
Then we got Asian man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we got fucking woman with
Jaw lady.
and then this is the other one we got.
Is that a tranny?
I don't know what it is.
That's tranny. Yeah.
Nah, it's like an Indian fish. You know how fish's eyes are held close together?
Yeah.
It's an Indian
There's not
fish.
one white, just normal looking fucking cunt out of the whole ad.
It's a fish.
Flounder.
It's a
flounder.
It's a Indian flounder. Yeah. It jumps out of the water, fillets itself, and hops straight into a curry.
Flindia.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to have to go over to our Patreon because we're running over already.
Wait, before we go to the Patreon, do
Yeah.
you just want to give a spiel to everyone before we go?
No, not really. I'm pretty good. Like if
You've got it out of your system.
I've got it out of my system. We're occupied people, and
Yeah.
and the voting ain't the answer.
Nah, it doesn't seem to be.
No, we've got to work on it. We're
Yeah.
going to actually get
Plug
together.
your channels real quick again.
Just
Yeah.
Lawtards, man, on TikTok. It's just a bit of a fun channel, but if you actually want to, send me a message or give me a comment on YouTube, and I'll put you in touch to the right places.
What
for
about
sure.
the group too? How do they
The
join?
group? If you want to figure out a little bit more, rule92.com.
I brought up the page before.
Yeah, sort of lays out what our intentions are, especially with this forced medical procedures. At the moment, we're still gathering evidence. So,
Oh, good luck to you, man.
yeah,
I mean,
cool.
fucking, yeah, it's going to be a rough fucking time trying to do it, but props to people that are doing it and trying.
We're giving it a red hot go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right, well, we'll see you on Patreon.
Cheers for tuning
to everyone
in.
else, see you next